Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Labor Day sale at Ace. Now through Monday only, buy 2 gallons of our top paint brands, Valspar, Clark & Kensington, and Royal, and get the 3rd gallon free. And with the Ace Extra Mile promise, if it ever takes more than 1 trip to complete your paint project, we'll bring you what you need and delivery's free. Don't miss the buy 2, get 1 free paint sale, only at Ace. Limit 2 free gallons of equal or lesser value. Prices may vary. Delivery subject to availability. Visit acehardware.com for more details.
Celebrate Independence Day with 20% off Feed Me More Nutrition and everything on feedmemore.com. Use discount code INDEPENDENCE20. That's discount code INDEPENDENCE20. Promotion ends midnight, July 4th.
Pat, slap my ass! It's time for conversation with the big guy, pal!
Welcome to Conversation with the Big Guy. I am the Big Guy Ryback, and I'm sitting here with the one, Pat Buck. What's going on?
Happy to be here on Conversation with the guy that apparently can't break an apple. My name is Pat Buck. And,
I just proved that this week, Pat.
I did see it. I don't know if that was a regulation apple. I was asking you if you could break on the old podcast, but I guess I'll take your word for it. I think
it was an organic apple, actually, asshole. I kept forgetting to go to the store because I was going to go buy a bag of apples and
break all of them.
What's that?
And break all of them out of anger.
Yeah. To break all of them to have the confidence to do one on video and then fucking botch that. No, I text my mom because I was like, I don't feel like fucking going into the store just to buy apples. And I go, do you have an apple? And she goes, yeah. And she came out of her apartment and gave it to me. And I fucking brought it into the house and set it down for later. But yeah, that's quite an interesting little story. I guess that was, you saw Ride Along this week, right?
I sure did. I don't know if we want to get into that now or sorry to insult you right off the bat, big guy.
No, it seems like you were just chomping at the bit to get that one in. It's
written on my computer. Open the show by insulting with the apple.
I think our listeners probably would like it if you tried to zing me a little more. I bet.
Yeah. The best comments. Apparently, I got a lot.
Me getting raging and cussing at you on the podcast. Just hothead Ryback. No, I think we'll come around back to that. I do want to start off saying. Just everybody out there listening, I know you have been around him in OVW also, Pat. Mm-hmm. Matt Capitelli, I happened to see on Facebook, I saw a bunch of people were kind of just sharing different things that involved him. I go, what's going on? And it looks like, I guess, the brain tumor he had removed, was it 10 years ago now?
10 years ago, yeah.
I guess it's back and more aggressive. Mm-hmm. Or they think it's in a more aggressive type tumor. So I just want to everyone out there to keep Matt Capitelli and your thoughts and positive vibes his way, and hopefully he overcomes this one here. It's never cool to hear about someone in the wrestling community struggling and whatnot, but he's a great dude. I think there's one of those guys. It's like the Owen Hart deal, where like. You never hear anybody say anything bad about Matt Capitelli.
Never. One of the nicest guys. Almost like, I hate saying the phrase "too nice for wrestling" because when he was down there in developmental, I don't know. Were you there for? Were you up there for when the whole thing went down originally, or no?
I believe I was in Deep South Wrestling at the time at DSW, and because he actually came down to Deep South because they were trying out him and Miz as a tag team.
Yep.
Before, and so they were doing some tag matches because Miz was assigned to Deep South Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So that was when I first met Matt Capitelli. And actually, I take that back. I met him when I went to OVW for 2 or 3 weeks, right when I got signed, when I was sitting at home, and the office called and said, "You want to go down to OVW for a couple of weeks and train with Lance Storm?" And then Bill and Al build them out. Now Snow will be there the following week, just to kind of see what developmental's like, and then when Deep South is ready, we'll fly you back there. And so that's where I first met Matt, and he was just me being a tough enough guy my first time around, and a lot of guys weren't necessarily cool. A lot of guys wouldn't go out of their way to necessarily help you. He was always just he's a good human being. He saw past all the bullshit and he was always just nice. Just a good human being is the best way to describe it. He seems that he gets life. So I think he's going to pull through this one, and everybody out there, I believe the surgery is today. While we're recording, so hopefully come this time when we come out on Monday, he's feeling better and knows more about the situation at hand, and can beat this one also.
Yeah, just to go a little further into that, because I spent a lot of time, obviously, in OVW, and I was there. Part of the reason, at one point, Capitelli was in a tag team called the Thrill Seekers with Johnny Jeter, who later went to the Spirit Squad, and he was used in a capacity where people were like, oh man, this tag team's going to debut and do a lot of good stuff. Then when Heyman got there, he split them up, and Capitelli was such a fiery, good babyface. And I looked up to him a lot because he was one of the smaller guys in developmental. I think actually at one point, because we all used to have to weigh in, even though I didn't have to weigh in, but during class.
I forgot about the weigh-ins.
Oh, God. Ridiculous. It's like, why is this happening? But
by the way, just a little sidebar on that. Guys on the weigh-ins, I remember at like FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, guys would routinely take the rehab weights and put them in their pockets, like the little 3, 4, 5 pound dumbbells. I can't tell you how many guys would throw a couple dumbbells in their shorts.
Really?
No way. In front, and nobody's paying attention.
I think Ziggler might have done that. I'm pretty
Probably.
sure.
That's why that fucking asshole got called up to the main roster. He's been living a lie his entire life. Fuck.
Because I remember I got down to OVW when I was like 20 or 21, and I thought I was in like good shape compared to like indie level good shape, and I weighed 193 pounds at the time. And I remember I'm like, oh, I'm probably as big as some of the guys there. And I looked at the list, and I was like, holy shit, like the lightest guy was Capitelli, and he was like 206 at the time.
That was during the days where the water was good and developmental.
The Louisville water was really
Louisville water produced a lot of fucking top guys over the years.
Something in there, maybe a little aminos in the old Elville water. God. So so I looked up to him a lot, and he was just so good at what he did. I remember the night the thing went down. It was myself. I was in the crowd. I was in the fucking watching this, but
like a fucking marker, or just
no. I wasn't in the training class. I was in Rip Rogers' class. I wasn't in the developmental class yet, although I would do the live events. It was I was a really strange situation. So,
yes or no? Did you have a Batista shirt on while watching?
Underneath my Biz Cash, which was required.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no. Was Batista even a thing? Yeah, he was. Totally. Okay.
Oh, I totally see, young Pat at that point.
So, in the match, I believe it was Jeter as a heel with Mark Henry versus Capitelli, and actually, no, it was against
Galen
Croft.
Croft was in the match. Yeah.
Croft was in the match. It might have been a 6-man tag. I don't remember, or it might have been a tag. I forget. But all I remember is watching it, and Croft just clubs him from behind, like nothing out of the ordinary, and Capitelli just dropped. And you could tell he was knocked out, and everyone was like, "Oh shit!" And they made do, but he was out cold. And I remember that's what caused him to go to the hospital to find what they found. And we were all
because he wanted to probably passed out, right? But because that was something he had going on that he didn't know about, it caused him to pass out, right? From the shot. Wow.
It was really intense. It couldn't have happened to a nicer person. And they had big plans for him, and and he would always come around. He had the surgery, but he always came around OVW a lot. So much so that
always happy. I remember
always happy. Has a great wife, very spiritual guy, very devout Christian, and he. I think this year, for a few years now, he's been involved with teaching the beginner program at OVW.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So, but man, like to hear that he's going through this again sucks, but you know, I'm sure if he pulled through it the first time and literally walked around like he looked no different. You could not tell that he had anything going on. He was fine.
Not at all. Yeah.
So I'm hoping he can do it again.
He was always motivating for me because like you'd mentioned, he was really good. And I remember because he was a tough enough guy.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, wow, like it's great. Like this was a guy that came in from Tough Enough, and he picked this up really well. And that was motivating for me as a, you know, at 22 years old to see all that. So positive thoughts with the whole Capitelli family, and I think he's going to be, you know, he'll pull through this. He's as strong as they come mentally. So it sucks, but he seems to know how to turn negatives into positives with the best of them. So
all right. So on that note, starting off a little sad. How do we lighten the mood here?
No, it's you know, I think it's something that came up. I think it's important to talk about and whatnot. But it's how's your week going outside of hearing about that news?
Well,
week for the Buck.
One thing was I had a really disturbing encounter, which I haven't told you about yet. And I'll tell you for the first time here because I think you'll appreciate it. And I think the podcast audience will appreciate it too.
I like when you save things for the podcast for me so I can hear for the first time.
A lot of things I do because I'm like, I got to. This was okay. So I'm at practice. I'm training my guys, and my wife texts me. She said I locked myself out of the apartment because, you know, we live in Queens, and to go outside we have to go through our door, go down the stairs through another door, and then a third door. And if it closes behind you, you get locked out. So
I thought you were going to say then you go through the bar an attic trap door through the bar and come on a ladder down through the bar. And then
oh, okay, yeah.
Have a drink and then go do your business.
So she is like, "Hey, I got locked out," and she got locked out because she was helping clean up. Apparently, I'm not a good husband. I don't take the garbage out as often as I should, and I kind of get lazy. And because garbage day is, I know this is mundane, but garbage day is twice a week, and we can't put stuff outside. We'll get a ticket. So I put it out the window on our roof.
You know who else is really bad at putting out trash? I remember from a Triple H supposedly is really bad. Stephanie.
Really?
They did that little segment with them, like answering questions on each other. Like it might have been years ago. And one of the things, it was to see if they had like the same answers for each other, like how well they knew each other.
Okay.
And it was like that was his one thing, like something like he was horrible at taking out the trash. So you're a lot like the game.
That's right. So anyway, she's like, "Hey, I got to take the trash out." She gets the trash from outside. It's on our roof, and apparently this is gross, but there's maggots everywhere.
Oh,
and she's scared.
There's one thing I can't stand. It's fucking maggots.
So she's freaked out, and she's running with this trash bag downstairs, trying to like not have it fall into the apartment, and she gets locked out. And I said, you know, I can't do anything about it. I'm at practice. You know, I'm like 50 minutes away. You know, go get our landlord to let you in. She goes, "Okay, I will." So she goes.
She has the trash full of maggots.
Well, she threw it out. She put it in front of the apartment, and it just has to sit there until the garbage comes. So she goes to our landlord. Now, mind you, remember I talked about the baby stuff on the last podcast, or maybe 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah,
about
I feel like it's every week now. It's around the corner.
So this is a little interesting. So I said our landlord is convinced that we have a baby, and that's why he's going to put in a new air conditioner because of our baby.
Yes.
So she goes to, and I hear her laughing in the background right now. So she goes to the landlord, and she goes, "Hey, you know, I got locked out. You know, can I get the key? Can you help me get back in?" He goes, "Absolutely." So he's walking with her and chit-chatting it up, and out of nowhere he goes, you know, like, "Oh, like, you know, small talk." And he talks very quick, and he's a real aggressive kind of like Greek guy. He owns like 86 properties. So out of nowhere, he kind of like keeps talking about stuff and keeps talking about having a baby. And he catches
Is he
her
hitting on her?
No, not at all. He's just kind of like, you know, saying this and that. And he's like, by the way, how is the baby? And instead of my wife going like, I figured she would take the high road, or like not high road, but I figured she'd be like, to be honest, like I think you have us confused with someone else. You know, we don't have a child yet, but we are thinking about it, you know, within the next few years. Instead, she goes, "Oh, the baby's good." You know, she entertains it. And
that's a wrestler's wife for you right there.
It goes further though. Then he goes, "Oh, what's her name?" And she just,
oh no,
she looks at him and goes, "Isabel." And she calls me right after. She goes, "You're not gonna fucking believe this." Like, she's like, I just told the landlord that we have a baby named Isabel." And I'm like, "Isabel?" I'm like, "What are we, fucking
little Isabel Buck,
colonial Spaniards?" I'm like, "Where does that name come?"
Perfect.
She's like, "I don't know." She's like, "The name just came to me, and I just and the guy's like, 'Oh, Isabel, is that like a family name?" And she's just like, no." And it's just awkward. Oh, but this guy thinks we have a fucking daughter named Isabel.
Wow.
And
that's incredible.
She's like, "We have to move now." She's like, "We have to find a new apartment." So
you know, all you need to do is just go buy one of those on Amazon. They have everything. Is go buy one of the little lifelike babies that you like practice raising,
and just have it crying or something. Yeah,
and just occasionally walk outside with the thing, and like you walk outside and just throw it in the back seat.
I'll just walk by his window and just like wave to him and then throw it in the fucking trash.
Oh, jeez.
Now we keep texting each other, and I'll be like, "Hey, like, how's Isabel doing? Did she eat today?" Like, we have an imaginary child now.
This is the secret playing out where you're going to eventually just have Isabel.
So,
and then the guy's going to wonder, like, in 4 years when Isabel's a legit baby, like, what the fuck is he's going to think it's a second one, which you're going to have to pretend it's another child. This lie is going to cost you like 5 kids.
Well, that's the thing. She's like, "Hey, like, what do I say now?" I'm like, "Well, you can say that you're fucking lying about a baby, or you could be like, 'Oh, I got confused.'" She's like, "Should I say I have a twin sister?" I'm like, "I don't know." And she feels really bad. She said she almost threw up after. Like, she was so nervous that she said that. She's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "I don't know, but this is awesome, and I'm going to keep making jokes about this every fucking day."
Now, what's going to happen is Lauren is going to become addicted to lying. So she got the first taste of it, made her sick at first. It's like when the first time you smoke or do tobacco.
Yeah, you're right.
And it makes you sick, but then you just can't help it. You want to do it again. You want to just feel that feeling again. And she's just going to start creating all these lies. And you're going to be like, "What the fuck did I do to my wife?"
All over. We just wanted an air conditioner. Fuck.
Just stupid lies for no reason, just on stupid shit. Like, "Lauren, did you drink the last Sevia?" "No." And fucking, just, I don't even know where I was going with that, but she clearly did.
Baby Isabel Buck coming to. I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "What kind of name is this?" Like, I think of like a queen, like that sent Columbus. I'm like, we're both two pure Irish American people. But hey, baby Isabel, that's coming soon.
That's a hell of a story. I am glad you saved that for me. Thank you very much.
What about you? What's going on this week?
Good week for me. I actually fly out this week for the Eternal Con in Long Island. Have a couple appearances there Saturday and Sunday. So I'm excited about that, getting out of the house this weekend. But I got to catch up with a good buddy I grew up with, actually, yesterday, old James Suster, who's a big fan of this podcast, over in Hawaii. He has his family. They went on like a cruise and everything for like a 2-week vacation, but they're here. His family lives here. I played baseball with him in high school, and he's from Hawaii. He moved back there, and he's a principal out there, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
And he has a whole family now and everything, and actually, he might be swinging by the old big guy compound for 4th of July. To light. We're gonna have the kids play in the pool, and I'll be out there in my Speedo going down the slide. Just creepy Ryback.
I like the fact that hearing this stuff I really like, because you're the queen. You're the king of.
Wait, are we talking about Big Gay Ryback again now? Which we'll talk
Jesus!
About that later. Jesus,
fuck,
huge hit.
I wanted to put up that thing with that graphic, the Big Gay Ryback signing at the Comic-Con, but I kept that in.
Hold on, we'll talk about that. Finish the story where you're going with this, because I'm intrigued by what you were going to say. I'm the king of what?
Staying indoors, kind of staying to yourself, but to hear that you had a mini, I think maybe you might be secreting, a little future family life.
You never know.
Stuff like that.
I built my house like it was for a family, and it's just me. I remember Daniel Bryan giving me, why do you need a house that big? Why do you need, because it's built as it's technically 5 bedrooms, but it also has an apartment suite, a 2-bedroom apartment suite attached to it, and a game room. So I think it technically, in an office, so it's it could technically be like a 7 or 8 bedroom deal.
You could have 12, 15 people live there. Easily.
Yeah. It's it really could hold a lot. But I was just I had it made for the future.
Sure.
Which Dan just appreciated, because me and my love of Terminator, everything just revolves around the future with Terminator. Because Dan is very simple and being efficient. And I told him, I go have the solar panels put on so I don't waste energy and things of that nature. But when just one person living here, it is, I sometimes do. But I filled the house up with so many things. So it's everything is essentially being used, all the different, and I got guest rooms and stuff. But I do sometimes this is a little much for just one person. Because I sometimes feel I miss living in just an apartment sometimes.
Okay.
It's so much more, it's just simpler.
Yeah.
When you have a bigger house, it's more, I'll sometimes walk by my ping pong table and pool table and feel like I have to play it because I have it. And I'm no, it's for when you have people over, but I don't fucking have people over because I'm such an introvert most of the time.
Sure.
I just like to just fucking sit and listen to audiobooks and learn but when I'm around people, I love being around people.
Yeah.
So I can go from just wanting to be alone and not wanting to be around people to all of a sudden just loving a whole crowd around. And drunk on the bar, fucking with my shirt off, beating
dancing
on my chest. Dancing, yeah. It's raining men. No, but it was good to catch up with him. He loves the podcast. He doesn't watch wrestling. He watched me when I was on before, but he's not
so he's a normal person.
Yeah, totally, dude, totally normal family guy, and he just loves listening to just the shit we talk about.
Okay,
and it was a good insight from a regular person and stuff. It's not even the wrestling stuff. He just likes the banter and whatnot. So I was that's good feedback. So it was good to catch up with him. And I told you weight training this week. I actually had an appointment with my stem cell doctor today. My shoulder is doing phenomenal, and they are thrilled with the progress. He told me, he goes, just take it easy still. He goes, I can already tell looking at you how excited you are telling me how good you're feeling. Because my weights have doubled in the gym this week, if not even more than that, on everything that I was just doing the week prior, and I'm having no pain or no pinching, and the cartilage is regrowing around my joint at a very fast rate. So I'm the stem cells work for 6 months of the healing, and he goes, the fact that you're already feeling this good, he goes, I am completely confident you're going to make a full recovery. And so it's I'm starting to in the gym. I feel like I'm getting my swagger back a little bit.
You sent me pictures of the old weights today. I'm you needed that, man. I think you were losing your mind for a while, not being able to.
I haven't been able to train and do any of the boxing or Muay Thai or the weight training is such, as being anybody that lifts weights, for me, it's always been such a stress relief.
You have
to be able to go in.
You have to do it. You just have to.
If I look like a complete tub of shit and just ate fried chicken all day and pizzas, just going to the gym that 3 hours, just for the mental feeling that it gives me, that high, is why I do it. That's why I love doing it. So it's when I go there and I'm lifting with fucking 3 little plates in the machine or 4 little plates and just endless reps, and I can't even get a pump. Now I feel like I can actually, this is the first week where I'm looking in the mirror. If you remember that movie Beethoven?
Of course.
Where the little nerdy boy in it, the white boy.
Yes.
When he looks in the mirror with his shirt off and he beats on his chest really quick. Mm-hmm. That's me right now. I'm feeling, I'm okay. I'm taking off my shirt again and I feel it's a slight difference, but it's enough to where I'm like, all right, I'm starting to feel like the big guy again. I really fucked myself over giving myself this nickname. I really have.
Got to live up, man. People like the muscles. Did Scott Hall?
Yeah. Oh, I'll never forget Scott Hall at that appearance. He's every time he sees me, he lectures me on how I need to be in gimmick, wearing a tank top and fucking spandex or who knows what at these signings.
Hey, yo.
Just probably throw a fanny pack on and go all brothered out. And he's like, let the people see the muscles, bro. Ain't nobody look like you. But I'm just thinking in my head, I'm all fucked up in the head, Scott. I think I look like shit. I can't explain that. I just go by how I feel. So even if I did, if I was in my best shape ever, I don't think going to a signing and just being in, I don't know, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I never have. It's like I've always been, I'm that guy that I like wearing the big baggy shirts. And
yeah, that's true.
I'll occasionally, when I'm feeling good, I'll take the shirt off and have a tank top on underneath and whatnot. And but usually it's a big baggy shirt, and I'm not looking to draw more attention to myself. So, but good week. Everything's looking good. That August return is right around the corner, and it'll be nice to get back in the ring and start fucking just feeling alive again.
Great. On that note, why don't we start a little, let's get a little music going. Do you want to pick a song, or you want me to pick a song? I think we got some things we want to plug.
Oh, yeah, I got a good song for us this week. I've put it on my Snapchat a couple times. It's since I'm feeling so good this week, Alphaville Forever Young has been playing nonstop for the big guy this week because I'm feeling young again, Pat. I feel like just a young, hungry 20-year-old just ready to fucking attack life, grab life by the throat, and choke the fuck out of life.
All right.
With that, can we set this bad boy up, Eddie? All right, guys. For all fan mail for the big guy Ryback, please send to P.O. Box 752740, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89136. I love hearing from you guys. Feed Me More Nutrition is available on feedmemore.com, available now on Amazon with free Prime shipping. And in Las Vegas, I just restocked their inventory the other day, Spartan Nutrition in North Las Vegas. I'm also I'll talk about this later, LVAC, the biggest athletic clubs in Vegas. A big deal I got going on with them here starting in July. Wake Up, It's Feeding Time, the motivational book by the big guy Ryback, available on Amazon. Guys, I can't thank you enough. If you have read the book and you have enjoyed it, please, reviews on Amazon are greatly appreciated. That helps the cause. Feed Me More merch, now on Amazon. The link is available at feedmemore.com for Feed Me More merch on Amazon. Fuel meals, save 10% with discount code THEBIGGUY. It's the personal meal prep service of myself. Feeding Time 2.0, the official theme song that I use on The Independents, is available on iTunes. And this podcast, Conversation with the Big Guy, guys, please continue to share and review, and let's get this thing over 100,000 listens every week and keep it growing. And we're going down the right path with this. This week, I actually got a big appearance coming up, Pat. Wrestling Under the Stars for Northeast Wrestling. Myself, the beautiful Mandy Leone, Mick Foley, Jerry the King Lawler, the Mouth from the South, Jimmy Hart, Cody Rhodes, and many more are all going to be appearing Saturday, July 8th, 2017 at 7 p.m. Autograph signing starts at 5 p.m. Tickets start at $15. You can get your tickets at northeastwrestling.com. And with that, the official Feed Me More Nutrition Facebook page at Feed Me More Nutrition, and the official Twitter for Conversation with the Big Guy at CWTBG. And that is it for the big guy this week.
All right, Wrestle Pro returns, or dare I say debuts, Allentown, New Jersey on Thursday night show, big in summertime. WrestleProOnline.com to get your tickets. Ryback will be there. Cody Rhodes will be there. Hornswoggle will be there. You can also check us out August 10th. We're doing a fundraiser for the NYPD, WrestleProOnline.com. And when I have future dates and all my September stuff, I don't know if I should be saying this, I'll be wrestling for Impact on their live events coming up, I believe, August 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th, to be determined. But they've been kind enough to feature Create a Pro in a match, which is always great great working relationship with Old Impact Wrestling. And when I get more details, I'll be sure to relay them, but go check them out. I believe it's impactwrestling.com. And that's all. If you want to be a wrestler, createaprowrestling.com. You can train with me and Kurt Hawkins over in New York, and me and Mario Bocara and old Danny Moff in New Jersey. And that's all I got.
Did you say that you're going to be doing something with Impact Wrestling? Did you say you're wrestling?
Yeah, so they're having live events in their first live events in a long time coming up in the month of August in New York. And I've always had a real healthy relationship with Jeff Jarrett and Global Force.
Yeah.
And I was kind of always on a lot of their shows, and me and Jeff worked together a lot too. And they've been very kind enough to I
like Jeff. Jeff has always been him and Karen. When I met them at your show that one time during WrestleMania week, they were they just seemed like good people.
Just a solid family. They got a lot of kids. They got, I believe it's 4 girls and 1 boy, and they're just great people, man. I mean, I
liked his son. His son was coming over quite a bit. I liked his son.
Oh, Cody,
very nice. Yeah, so
and
it was cool.
So throughout the years, they know how hard I work with the old school, and they agree to kind of have a match kind of featuring some of the talent from both of my schools. So I'm looking forward to having that on both events.
Could you pitch to have you and Drew Donovan team up to take on Crime Time for a special Impact, just like we did at Orlando before that SmackDown TV, or on SmackDown TV, I think. That Christmas episode, I think it was, back years ago. I still remember to this day.
Well, I think that Drew Donovan, I'm becoming a body guy, and Drew Donovan's been a body guy for years, so I'm going to have to pull the old no card on that one. I gotta look good, man. I gotta get my stuff in.
I would like if you guys do a Body Donna's gimmick type deal for this, just for this one show, and but maybe more modern, obviously, a little more caught up with today's infomercials.
Okay.
And I don't know what that is. Maybe coming out. I was gonna say coming out. You got your Feed Me More Nutrition shakes, but then
will Sunny be managing us?
She's appearing on one of your shows I just saw that I'm on coming up here. So
September
8th.
Yep.
If anybody can make that happen, it's you.
I like Sunny. She's a good girl.
Yeah. No, I met her before at the WWE Hall of Fame. She's a very, very sweet woman. But with that, we'll go ahead and we'll take our first break, and we'll be right back after this, guys. If you're anything like us, you like to enjoy a nice ice cold soda every now and then. But you hate the empty calories, the artificial sweeteners that come with it. With Zevia, you don't have to pick your poison. You won't feel awful worrying about the potentially stupid harmful side effects, because with Zevia, there are none. Zevia uses the all-natural sweetener stevia. It doesn't have any caramel coloring either. The result is a delicious and safe soda with none of the nasty stuff. Zevia has 14 flavors of soda, 4 flavors of sparkling water, and 4 flavors of awesome energy drinks. This is the naturally sweetened pop you and your family will crave. And Zevia is giving you the opportunity to try their products for yourself for free. That's right, for free. If you live in the U.S. or Canada, just go to Zevia.com/podcast and sign up. And they'll mail you a coupon for a free 6-pack. What are you waiting for? Head to Zevia.com/podcast and get your hands on some ASAP. Don't forget to tell them Mark for Life sent ya. The following advertisement has been paid for by the big guy Ryback. Are you hungry? You know I'm so hungry, big guy. Hey, Mark, what brings you here? So I'm just here to hang out with my all-time favorite superstar of all time. What brings you here? Well, I'm doing a paid advertisement for Feed Me More Nutrition, available at feedmemore.com. Big guy, that is music to my ears. Did you tell the people about your Ice So Hungry grass-fed whey protein isolate, the best tasting protein on the market? Wake Up Unlimited Energy, the strongest pre-workout on the market, and the big guy, all-natural testosterone booster, my personal fave. Big guy, you're on to something with this Feed Me More Nutrition. It is some top quality stuff. Well, thank you, Mark, it is. Feed Me More Nutrition, premium,
quality, the highest quality supplements on the market today. Available now at feedmemore.com. But wait, there's more. Just for being a listener of Conversation with the Big Guy, you can now save 10%. That's right, save 10% at feedmemore.com on all Feed Me More merchandise and apparel and Feed Me More nutrition with discount code PODCAST10. PODCAST10. Podcast 10. Thank you, guys.
And we're back. Stay tuned, guys. Our main event tonight. We have a good one for you. The top 10 guys we would like to see in the WWE today. You got a good list for that, Pat?
I think so, and I think I went inside and outside the box. I mean, I'm sure there's people from NXT, but the rules are people we want to see on WWE television in some capacity, correct?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And there is no right or wrong, obviously, because they're our list. But last week, actually, for the first time, I don't have the exact numbers here. I actually screwed up and didn't make the poll long enough, but I have a feeling you were going to win no matter what. WCW One Night Only took the number one position for pay-per-view concepts from last week. So congratulations on that. It was a victory well earned.
You know, I want to accept that victory, but I really think that a lot of the people that vote are not the same people listening to the podcast. They just see it for the first time, like, oh, I'll pick because Big Gay Ryback crushed the competition, and what was the second winner? I can't remember, but it just seems like they picked the coolest name. Like, oh, I understand that. I'm just going to pick it.
Oh, yeah. By the way, my buddy James in Hawaii that I met yesterday, he couldn't believe Homeless Ryback didn't win. He thought that was he said he laughed his ass off at that entire. I go. I had no idea he was coming up with that. I said that entire thing, how that played out, and he goes, you getting the money doing 8x10s and pictures before the show to buy your drugs during the show. with the whole feed me more thing. The Feed Me More very easily can transition into fucking Homeless Ryback.
It could be a lot of things. It could be the call of a nation or the call of a struggling group in society.
Just me with a huge beard, my hair all grown out, all shitty. Obviously, because I suffer from male pattern baldness, as our friend pointed out. And just fucking outside of WWE shows with my sign, Feed Me More. Please, please.
Get a cup of change, jump. You know, I walk by a bum every single day. I don't want to be a jerk, but I have a problem with this bum that I walk by every single day when I go to the gym.
Really?
Because I don't believe he's a real. You know, I know people are homeless. Yeah. I get that. I understand. But when I walk by this guy, I see him every single day, and he's always sitting there. He's always asking for fucking money. He has 5 different pairs of shoes.
Wow.
That I've seen him. I've noticed him wearing different sneakers and different dress shoes, and I'm like, this guy isn't legit. What homeless person has 5 different pairs of shoes? I'm like, I hate his guts. And every day I walk by, I get a little extra angry when I see him.
That's a tough one. I routinely will throw like usually a 10 or a 20 spot on when I feel. I go by how it makes it's feeling, because there's some you just get that vibe, you don't buy into it, right? And then there's others.
Yeah.
You can almost just tell looking into another human being's eyes, the desperation. And it's not to say you could do it every time, but there's I know what you're talking about, where if you see this guy every day and you've seen him in 5 different pairs of shoes and it's that obvious. Yeah. But it's, again, like out here in Vegas, so, you know, it gets 110, 115, 116 degrees. And I see some of these guys out there, I'm like, man, you know what? No matter, even if that's work, no matter what. But I almost look at it like, if they're in Vegas and they're out in the middle of the summer, they're probably legit if they're out in this heat. Like, because otherwise, you know what I mean? That's a tough.
Sure.
And they're burnt. Like, you could tell, like, that's another thing. For me, there's different things out here. I could tell if they're really burnt, or like, some of them don't have shirts on, or their forearms are super red. I could just tell they've been out there and, like, clearly they're struggling. Like so it's a tough deal. But I know there's some people that milk that and others that don't. And it's like anything else in life. There's good doctors, bad doctors, good mechanics, bad mechanics, and good homeless people, bad homeless people, or people that are pretending to be homeless people. So it's
Sure.
no, but it sucks. It sucks to even feel that way. It would be nice to want to be able to give anybody in that position money, but if you see them every day like that, it's tough. Have you ever stopped and talked to them?
No, I hate him. I should just walk by and
Wait, but maybe, have you ever thought that maybe if you just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to try to understand this guy a little better, and like just a simple 1 minute conversation, because then you'll either know, like, you know what, I really do fucking hate this guy, he's a piece of shit, or, you know, fuck, he gives you a piece of his story and he sells you, and then
I just see him. He's always sitting out there during peak business hours, and I'm like, and I walk by and I have my headphones
playing on his cell phone.
And at first I felt bad. I'm like, oh man, you know, he's down on his luck. And then the next day I noticed, wait, he was wearing red shoes yesterday. And then I started to keep a mental track of all the different shoes that he had.
Oh, that's
and
in
I'm
the
like,
rule book of homeless people. Like, you're not supposed to wear red shoes. That's like on the top of the rule book, because that draws extra attention to you, that when people come by again, if you don't, because red is just such a powerful color.
He's trying to draw people in. He's a worker, but he's a legit worker.
You got to go. The white, dirty, beat up shoes. If in the homeless rule book that I saw years ago, that was at the top of the list.
I thought so. That's what I remembered. And he had brown dress shoes on like 2 days ago, and I'm like, and the way he moves around, it strikes me that he's drugged up. Like you see the mannerisms. I'm like, yeah. I think this guy like just sits out here for hours, gets some fucking money for drugs, and he's just fired up the whole time sitting there.
What are the odds you think he was a former worker?
Very high. You know, I could see him maybe mid 80s, early 80s.
He might have had a little bit of a
circuit.
run. Yeah, a little indie run at some point.
A little bit.
Any old person I see with long hair, I just assume they're a former worker. Because otherwise, I don't see the point of having the long hair, but I just assume it's like a wrestling thing. I don't know. That's just I see a guy with long hair, and I figure he worked at some point in time.
My wife does that. When she sees someone, and she's like, oh, that guy really does look like a brother. Like the fucking long hair or like a beard kind of hobbled over.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the majority. I feel like if I'm next, you know what I'm going to do? Next time I see anybody with long hair, I'm just going to ask, hey, man, you ever thrown a working punch? And just see what they say.
Give him the old 2-finger handshake.
Yeah. Give him the old too sweet. Hey, brother, you're a too sweeter tweeter? Fuck.
Oh, man. Someone did not like that last week. I said that the two sweeters do not like this podcast. And that got me a little... Your heat's rubbing off on me. I'm losing my small amount of credibility.
Well, I'm waiting for you just to kill yourself here. It really is. It's very overwhelming when you see that's the wrestling. Every wrestler, I told you, it's like welcome to this crazy world. No, I'm kidding, obviously, but it's that's what happens when you are on a platform or you are in a position for other people to hear. You open yourself up to their opinion, and
sure.
It doesn't matter what their credentials are or anything like that. So you just got to kind of just roll with it. I always have fun with it at this point. I still block every single stupid motherfucker that exists that does it, but you got to just have fun with it, because otherwise it will eat you alive. But again, usually clicking on their profile picture, either one, there is none, or two, you see their profile picture and you just smile and you understand. So,
and you get it. Yeah.
You get it, yeah.
That happens.
But
so you want to talk wrestling news, or you have anything else before we begin?
Yeah, no, I think we can get into some wrestling news. I was going to say it's been with Feed Me More Nutrition, now that the Amazon situation has worked out, we're trying to get the approval in the UK now, and we've just sent more paperwork over. We're waiting to hear back on that. It's going to be a much simpler process, hopefully, than the United States part. And once that's approved, I can literally start sending inventory over. So it's just a waiting game. So everybody over in Europe, please hang tight. Feed Me More Nutrition will be there sooner rather than later. I get a lot of questions on the fat burner, Shell Shock Extreme Fat Burner. I believe I just emailed the manufacturer yesterday. I'm waiting to hear back on a time frame on when that's going to be all done. And I would anticipate the next 4 or 5 weeks tops. If not sooner. I've been really pushing to get this sped up a little bit. So but it's right around the corner. And I'm going to be doing the San Jose Fit Expo at the end of July for all my West Coasters out here. And whatever the fuck I'm talking about right now, I don't even know where that. Like, I felt like I had to say something cool after saying the West Coast. Like, Jesus, West Side. That was my high school, Western High School. It was primarily. It was a very. We had a very large black population at my high school before I switched over to Palo Verde my senior year. But Western, we were a badass football team, and I always took pride in that. That I was heavily involved in sports there. But the big thing was West Side, and we had to throw up the W.
All right, like a Tupac video.
It was literally to intimidate the other team. I kid you not. It was I am a fucking white guy, Pat, just through and through. But I always had fun. We listened to rap music, before the games, and Murder, Murder, Kill, Kill. I forget who sang it, but that song played every goddamn night before game day on Fridays. I have fond memories, actually, of all my high school football days. But and I actually, like Al Bundy, my pride and joy. I was a halfback, believe it or not, and I started and I fullback in a primarily black school. And then I moved
kind
eventually.
Of big to be a running back.
I was, but I was fast before. I was always very quick, and okay. But I scored 4 touchdowns in one game against Bishop Gorman.
Oh, jeez, like Al Bundy.
This is my Al Bundy moment. My biggest game was 4 rushing touchdowns against Bishop Gorman, and it was at the UNLV stadium on the turf. And I don't talk about it much. I'm pretty humble about it, but I figure this is my podcast, so. Toot toot. Yeah, no, but I'm going to be doing the San Jose Fit Expo with Feed Me More Nutrition at the end of July. I believe July 28th and 29th that weekend. I'm getting all that organized and got to send in the application here and pay the fees, and going to be making the 8 or 9 hour drive up to San Jose and assembling a crew. And Feed Me More Nutrition, we're crossing over into that fitness world now that I kind of have everything in place. And but for me locally, I'm trying to get into more stores locally. So I go to the Las Vegas Athletic Clubs here, the LVAC. It's the biggest gym in Las Vegas. Amazing gyms. I believe they have 5 or 6 huge locations, and I am now I have just with the woman who organizes all that for advertising. I met with her yesterday, and I have everything in production. I'm going to be advertising with LVAC moving forward, so I'll be on all their TV screens with like little ads and whatnot, and have brochures, and I'll be doing demonstrations. And I have a team to do that every month. I'm allowed one a month, which they said actually they let me do a little more than that, where I set up the product samples and I'll give away free half-gallon jugs and water bottles and shaker bottles, and just it's cool. It's cool to see this grow the way it is right now for me, and to still be able to wrestle and do everything and do this podcast and balance everything out. It's been a good year for me, man. But I'm looking forward to it's peace of mind knowing that this is going well so early on, because I really want to be able to concentrate on wrestling 100%. When the time comes here, come around in August. So when I'm back healthy and feeling good. So thank you to everybody out there, though. But Feed Me More Nutrition, it is growing day by day, and I can't thank you guys enough. So that's all I just wanted to say on that.
Okay, moving on. We'll talk a little wrestling, because that's what most of you want to hear, at least. This is a wrestling show, but I think the biggest thing this week, which I encourage you to watch, and I think it kind of. I don't want to say set the standard. It kind of set the pattern for things to follow this week in wrestling, is Glow on Netflix. We kind of briefly mentioned it last week. I watched it. I know you watched it. What did you think about it?
Yeah, you got on me the other day. You're like, you need to watch this because it's super relevant right now, and it's something easy to talk about. And I was like, okay, I'll put it on. And I don't watch a lot of TV. I watched the first 3 episodes, and I fucking love it. It is. I actually threw a little Snapchat up of me with the first episode on the intro the other day, and I'm a big fan already of the. Is he the trainer or the guy in charge with the mustache? What's his name?
His name on the show is Sam Sylvia. His real name is Mark Maron. He's actually, I told you before that he's kind of the grandfather of podcasting. He's the first one. He really got podcasting over. Let's just say that.
All right, I'm gonna have to. What was his podcast?
It's called WTF. That's the name of his podcast, and it just. I mean, he's really the one that kind of...
It's not a wrestling podcast, though, right?
No, he has had wrestlers on. He's very good friends with Colts. He's actually friends with Punk, too. And he's had people come over in his garage. And, like, he started his podcast out of a garage. I think he's one of the first people that set up the interview type podcast. And don't forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's the first guy that really took podcasting to a popular level. People are like, what the fuck is this? So, but he's doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, no, he's very entertaining on the show, and it's an appearance is John Morrison or Johnny Mundo, I guess we should
Hennigan, whatever you want to call him, sure.
Has a role in it, and I think Awesome Kong is in it, which I didn't even recognize her, and she's lost weight.
She lost weight. She looks better than ever, and I think that this is going to be. It's so obvious this is going to be picked up for season 2. I've seen most people are really outside people love it. It's gotten 5 stars on Netflix and everyone's really into it. The only people who I've seen critique it are fucking wrestling fans who've actually tried to watch. I swear to God, I saw a lot of Facebook statuses with people going, my buddy Kevin Matthews put up a status like, man, I really love this stuff, blah, 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 it's great. And one girl wrote, I stopped watching it after like 1 or 2 episodes. The wrestling isn't good enough. Like watching it from a fan like as if it's supposed to be this action-packed wrestling show. It's like you guys just missed. This show is such a shining light for pro wrestling. I don't think people realize it. Like it's such a good thing for people involved with it and just for the business overall that it's something creative that entertains people in the mainstream.
Yeah,
that's not a piece of shit.
Was
like,
that?
It's.
And I pardon my French, but was that dumb bitch expecting 20 super kicks in the first 2 scenes?
Expecting something.
I swear, people, they just make me bang my head and scream stupid. It's holy shit that you can't watch a TV show. Don't get me started.
You know who really didn't like it?
Who's that?
This is gonna make you mad. Our little buddy Hornswoggle watched it for 5 minutes before he turned it off.
Court, he has ADD, short attention span.
I told him, I was like, what? Not enough flips and not enough light tubes for you? He's like, yep, exactly. But it's a good fucking thing. And,
that's not even, Hornswoggle, you little piece of shit. Fucking go back and fucking watch it. Give it a chance.
Watch it.
God. He's just sitting there sipping on his little grape Zevia, fucking angry at the world.
And the original Glow, I mean, was not a good. Most of the women on it, I don't know if they had any wrestlers whatsoever. They might have, they might not have. And if I'm wrong, forgive me. But most were actresses and models and dancers. Like the wrestling on the actual Glow show was not very good. It was, it was bad. Yeah, but it was entertaining.
You know what I wanted to say watching, and I noticed this on when the blonde came in with the baby and they had the fight in the ring over her fucking her husband or whatever happened, and whether that was fake or real. But the guy, the mustache, what's his name again? I can't.
Mark Maron, Sam Sylvia on the show.
Sam. Okay, that he has the flashback as them as the wrestlers, and he's playing that out in their head. But you know what? The one thing, and I was just watching, I go, this is what I've always said the women are lacking today, is playing up to their sexiness. That the women on that they did a body slam and whatever, but then they got on the rope and just like shaking their ass. I was like, if a girl did that today, she'd be the most over diva on the roster. Rather than like that's why I always like Melina doing the splits before. Not to be like not from a creep, but like this is what makes women different than men, because the women they could do all the moves, not as good as the guys, but it's fucking just
can't climb ladders.
Can't climb ladders. Like we'll talk about that. That's a joke, guys. No, but like that's the one thing they have over men is that that sexuality that men
to ruin our lives.
That men can sit there and watch and tell their wives that, no, I'm just watching wrestling, hon, and that comes on and they get away watching it. Like they should play up to that. They could still do all the wrestling stuff, but just throw me some sexiness in there. And just, you got to think Billy Bob watching in the middle of fucking Bumsfuckingville, Arkansas, just like that's what he wants to see. He doesn't want to see a fucking 10 fucking star fucking headlock takeover or whatever.
No. And you know what? To go further with that, this kind of annoys me too. There's a lot of fans out there, and I experience them a lot with, especially with my promotion, where they will mask themselves as like, I love a good women's match. I really appreciate the action stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do too.
You know, I think that some women will be very ideal for what you're talking about. Like a girl like Lana comes to mind.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone, you know, a girl like Sasha Banks or Charlotte. Maybe not so much. They're athletes.
It doesn't matter. But, I think you could still subtly do things.
Okay.
I still think they're all beautiful girls. They could all subtly do things. And I'm not saying they all have to go shake their ass on the top rope. I'm not, but like just play up the sexuality a little more. It's very subtle, and I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. I feel like for that casual viewer,
it does. And I mean, if people go, "Oh, that's so sexist," it's not. Trish Stratus would do the same thing every time she got into the ring. Yep. She would fucking bend over with her gimmicks hanging out and her hands on her knees, and she did that for a reason, so people could see her cleavage.
It's not sexist. That's what men and women were put on this earth to reproduce and to be sexually attracted to each other. Like, it's not. You think women watch and the women check out the guys all the time, like all the time,
of course.
Because why the fuck else would you fight in your underwear?
I went with Lauren and she brought her sister, and who never watches anything, and she was drooling over Randy Orton.
Yeah,
literally, doesn't watch, like, never, and was pissing off my buddy because my buddy they were dating at the time. And she was like,
that's the worst
of Randy, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, but. Let's not ignore that we're human. But what I was saying about fans, though, a lot of them, especially the males, they'll pretend that they're watching female wrestling from a point of view of action, like that we would watch guys from.
Like Dave Meltzer is watching, like to critique it on the technical side for 5 stars, but he's also jerking off while he's trying to rate it for 5 stars.
That's what I'm saying, is that there's all these fight for female wrestling, the whole girl power stuff, and it's like, no, motherfucker, you guys just want to smell these girls' socks. Like, stop pretending.
Those are the guys that go and buy their stuff on eBay or whatever and throw them gifts and all that other shit.
Yeah. And I think it's great that the girls' movement's happening right now, which I was going to get to in the next thing, because Raw and SmackDown mirrored because I think they were talking about glow in the mainstream, and that's an awesome thing. But let's I like when the women are women too, just a little bit, and then get back to the fucking fake fighting. But I agree with you there.
I'm not saying overkill, just a little bit. I think that's their one major advantage over everybody else, and it is primarily a male dominated. The audience is majority male. If I'm not,
and not for nothing, we do the same thing. We flex. We'll fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm playing. If I'm out in that ring, I'm playing up to everybody, to the women, to the kids, to the other big gay Rybacks out there. Just the entire. You just want to appeal to all audiences,
But we're showing our masculinity.
Yeah.
Why are they only at this point showing a lot of masculinity when they should be showing some feminine side?
I think they're so hell bent on I think a lot of them too. Like, girls have always been able to wrestle. It's not. I think they're so hell bent like, oh, we could wrestle just like the guys, and like nobody's ever said you can't, guys. I think they sometimes get caught up on all that rather than just who gives a shit. Just go.
Yeah. Just
sexiness. The wrestling, you could do it all. It will. I firmly believe it will just amplify everything for them even further. Because it's something you can't. Okay. Every guy watching it, no matter how bad you want them to watch you just for your wrestling, they never just will watch just for that. And because regardless, and you're wearing outfits already that elicit that response. So why not play up to it?
Yeah, and 100%, almost all of them have some sort of. I'm not saying enhancements, but a lot of them go with the fake hair. or whatever. It's very. This is aesthetic business, and I actually started a women's promotion for a couple of years. I had one
every week. I feel like this is like you telling me you worked at a gay bar in your fucking whitey tighties last week. Like, every week, I feel like I learned something new about you. Holy
shit! You know that?
No, I didn't know you started a women's promotion. What the fuck was its name?
Okay, you're gonna laugh at this, and this is based on Glow. I started years ago.
Glow.
Yep.
Jeez.
It was Bombshells Ladies of Wrestling.
Can we restart this promotion?
You know who was in it? Kong was in it. Kong wrestled a lot of time. Like
really?
I brought in some big talents for these events. Yeah. Stars. I don't mean big by God. You gave me the old wink. Like, hey. I mean, I had like Serena and Shelly and God, I had a lot of. I had some, but the thing was, it was a very tough, and I had a partner at the time, and he actually is now the owner of it. I kind of got rid of it because it just wasn't, for women's wrestling, at least for a lot of the country, it's kind of the same fans. There's a lot of passionate fans for women's wrestling, and they fly all over the country to go to these shows.
Yeah.
But it's the same core group of 100 to 200. You can't kind of go outside that, 300, 400 realm. You can't. Shimmer does once a year, but it was at some point financially rewarding, and then other times it wasn't. But yeah, I was the founder of Blow, of Bombshells Ladies of Wrestling.
And you said what was the reason why it was it tough to kind of keep it going, or is that what you were?
Well, you know what, dealing with the girls were tough to deal with, to be honest with you. Some were a breeze, and some were, I've never had dealt with talent where they have to know, well, I have to know if I'm a babyface or a heel, or I don't want to wrestle with that person because this person is an embarrassment in my hometown and they're this and that. And I had a lot of that, and I wasn't used to that. And I have a lot of patience with a lot of things, and I'm like, wow, this is really a little bit difficult. And again, it wasn't worth the financial effort. So I passed it on to my partner, who then became an owner, who, we don't speak about each other anymore.
Yeah.
But, he kept it going for a little bit. It just wasn't for me. I would consider promoting a women's show again. And they were actually really good events, with a lot of great talent on it, but it just still, it was tough. It was real tough.
If Lauren keeps up with her lying ways, she might be the perfect candidate to put in charge for Blow. Just to lie to all these fucking girls all the time, and just let her she answers to you, but you let her deal with the women on that, and she can just tell them what they want to hear, but she loves lying. She gets off on that lie. And it's
oh my God. You have me worried now. I'm thinking about that.
You think she's in there laughing evilly during the podcast at all of this? I could just see this all playing now. You're gonna be like, dude, Lauren's just been lying about like stupid shit I've found out. Like, and it's like not even
She did today. I remember, like, she bites her nails. She bites her nails a lot, and I fucking hate that. I can't stand it. And like, I made a deal. I'm like, if you don't bite your nails for 30 days, I was gonna get her this really nice Gucci bag. And she's like, all right. I'm like, you can't do it. She's like, I will. And I caught her bite her nails, and I said, you're biting your fucking nails. And she's like, no, I wasn't. I'm like, your hand is in your mouth. I just fucking caught you.
I've never been. I've never understood that. That's something I just clipped my nails today. Actually, I've never. That never was something I did as a kid. So I guess it's just an addictive habit, right? Like,
people do it. I have at least 4 or 5 friends that do it.
Really?
That bite their nails to the bone.
I wouldn't even know how to bite my nail. Like, I don't even know how do you get your nails? Like, it blows my mind.
People eat the skin around it. Everyone has these weird little fucking habits.
Human
I can't
beings
do it.
are so fucking strange. We all do the weirdest shit. Like, I mean, that's not. I'm sure wasn't an uncommon thing a long time ago. But you would think some people, that trait just stuck with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Glow, man. Glow is. I highly recommend checking it out. It was. I thoroughly. I'm gonna try to watch. I'm gonna download a couple onto my phone for the plane ride out to New York tomorrow. So.
Yeah, Awesome Kong steals a show. Congrats to her. She stepped in. I don't want to even say stepped in shit. She lost the weight. She comes across like a real actress. there definitely be a season 2. She can tell the wrestling business kind of, and she's the sweetest girl ever. Kia is a great, awesome chick. So congrats to her success.
Is Alex Riley on this show too? I saw a thing with him. I haven't seen him on the show yet, though.
You'll see, not to give you any spoilers, but he's on it. He wrestles Joey Ryan on an episode. So it's nice to see, too, that Glow kind of incorporated. They weren't snobs to, they embraced. I heard Chavo was responsible for training a lot of the girls. Alex Riley's on it. Joey Ryan makes a cameo.
Okay.
Morrison did his little thing. I don't know if there's any other wrestlers that are Carlito and Brodus are involved.
Really?
They have little spots on it, but it was just a nice overall presentation, I think, for wrestling, which, there's sometimes you turn on wrestling and I'm like, fuck, I'm really, really embarrassed watching this, but it was cool to watch that show,
All right, putting you on the spot, since if you've seen a little more deeper into this show than me, if and I have the coach, or not the coach, the guy helping out with the acting gigs, and I'm not really, he's just throwing things out to see if there's, for a movie here, a thing there. What would you see the big guy Ryback? Do you see a role for me in this down the road?
Well, if you want to fucking put on a wig and grow a pair of tits, we could fit you in season 2. I don't know.
Could this possibly be the debut of the big gay Ryback?
I think I broke a nail. Oh.
I don't know. Fuck.
That would be the only way, by the way, that character would live, is outside of my infomercials on the fucking podcast, is on an acting thing like that in a movie world outside, even though, because it's not in the wrestling world, it's more, that's act, you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like even in any world, if you do a role too good, you could sometimes pigeonhole yourself, but
you could have played this one role coming out. You'll see when the show goes on. There's Brodus and Carlito played the sons of a famous, the big girl on the show, like the big heavy girl.
Her dad was the giant or whatever. Yeah.
So her dad is actually the guy that ends up killing Opie in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh wow!
It's the same actor, and his sons are Brodus and Carlito.
Okay,
and I think you could have played easily one of his sons if you knew about it, because he's a bald dude with a beard, and that would have been the perfect role.
All right. Well, hopefully, you never know down the road. But, check out Glow, guys. It was definitely worth checking out.
So also, Raw and SmackDown kind of mirrored Glow, and I think it was obviously by reason. Both of them had female main events, which I thought was a nice touch, and I feel like it wasn't forced, and it was really kind of fun. I don't know if you saw Raw or SmackDown.
I caught a little bit of the Raw one. I saw the SmackDown Money in the Bank match, and I'm really disappointed in James Ellsworth for letting down men everywhere, for coming out and failing to fucking save the match once again. But yeah, no, I thought it was really good, and then congratulations to everybody involved, and they played it safe on some of the bumps. I thought it wasn't as extravagant as I thought on but they all worked their asses off, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. One of the big things coming from TV this week, I don't know if you saw Miz's segment with LeVar Ball and his son, the old Lonzo Ball, and I don't know if you caught that. That was all over ESPN.
Yeah, after I heard about it, because I have it always DVR'd that in SmackDown, I went and checked that one out. And with LeVar Ball, he's the dad, I believe, and Lonzo Ball is the son who just got signed by the Lakers, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. That, man, I enjoyed that. And I like, because I could tell by, Miz, I could see when Miz is smiling, and it's obvious. It's just a fun deal that they're doing, but it got out of hand at one point, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I mean, a couple N-bombs were dropped, and I don't know if the old dad was going off, not supposed to be doing what he was doing, and it just kind of, I think they sent Ambrose a little bit early, and it just seemed a little awkward. You know what? And I was heavily disappointed. On me, I like Dean a lot. When I heard his music, I was very let down personally. I thought this was the perfect time. I thought this was the entire point of this segment, is it was going on, and then the younger son
said, beat that ass. Eddie, you can insert a quote in here if you want with Eddie Murphy again. I love Eddie Murphy quotes.
Eddie Murphy, fuck you.
I thought we were going to see the return of Hulk Hogan.
Brother.
Come out, fucking big boot everybody, leg drop on the entire fucking family, fucking Hulk and pose, and fucking the Hulkster's back, baby. I was in one more fucking hot run. That's what I was. I deep down inside of you think I'm kidding? This is what goes.
No.
This is what goes through my mind. I'm watching, and I was like, man, if Real American just hit right now, the pop would be fucking enormous. And but we got Ambrose, and that was all cool too, and whatnot. But I just thought the Hulkster would have been way better.
Great. What else we have from this week? We got. Daniel Bryan had a hell of a reaction on SmackDown.
Yeah, no, I saw that also. I saw it was on the West Coast, West Side, San Diego, and he always gets really good reactions still, which I think is just a testament to how over he was and how loved he is by the people. Because it's hard sometimes when you go to like a GM role to sustain those pops or that.
I know, like you could see that with like Not For Nothing. Angle does a great job. But you can kind of feel it, even though people are chanting the music, but it doesn't feel, to me, it's almost like, oh, Kurt Angle's here, cool. But instead of, holy shit, it's Angle, like Dan is still tremendously, like passionately over.
Yeah, and it helps that he has like that Angle too. The thing is, I think Angle's just such a badass that you want to see him kick at. Like, it's just different. And where he has the suit on and he doesn't do his entrance essentially, where Dan can come out and do the yeses, and you know what I mean. It's just it's a little. I think his fan interaction is he's still able to keep that entrance essentially, and it's so simple and effective. But like just to see when he hits the ring and like you look, everybody's still that yes is so over anyways, but he's over as well, and I was just looking, I was like, man, you see the things that you possibly. Him wanting to wrestle again, and I look at it like he's whatever he chooses to do and whatever happens, because I was there when he retired and I talked about it and we shared a moment together, and it was like I really, really like him a lot. Before I left the building that night, and I know he probably didn't want to have to announce that he would rather just wait, but in Cody I saw it's Shakespeare, and it's like it's fake. WWE wants to make a production out of anything and get ratings for anything, and like whether it's forever or not, because how many wrestlers have retired and come back, and like it's just it's a thing. But I think he will. I know his desire to compete is still there, and it can't be easy for him to watch everybody else, these guys that he wrestled on the independents when he was the man and they were coming up, and now to see that they're in the spotlight, and he's still on TV and whatnot, but he'll make the best decision for him and his family if he's able to compete in a year or 2 years or whenever it is, and he'll do the right thing. But I think that just goes to show that people care about him. I think it's even deeper than just being over. I think people just genuinely care about him, which is I think that's very rare for wrestling. He's one of those. He's a true babyface. I don't think he's so loved now by people.
He could never be healed.
No, where like they always said, well, Cena could never be healed. Yes, he could. He easily could.
He could.
Yeah, easily. That's just bullshit. Like I don't want to hear that. That's just no. You don't want to let the merch checks go. That's all that is.
Sure. Like you pretend it's about the kids. It's like well, the kids will just find a new fucking hero. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Where Dan, I think it'd be really, really hard to. I think after everything now that he's gone through, I think he's just so loved that there's just such a baby face, and I'm just happy for him. I like that he still gets those reactions being removed from that run that he had. So, but yeah, I checked that out and saw that this week too.
I have a little bit of independent stuff here. I thought this was really interesting. I don't think you're aware of this. Have you heard about the promotion called Wrestle Circus?
I have heard of it before, yeah.
Okay. There was a big headline or independent rumblings this week. As you know, I know you're aware of the Evolve promotion with the promoter Gabe Sapolsky kind of He's the one that kind of works hand in hand with Hunter. A lot of stuff. Evolve has a lot of good indie buzz talents. And,
Okay.
So basically, Wrestle Circus is an up and coming promotion. They've been really kind of hitting the bullseye in terms of really quality independent wrestlers and putting on a good show in Texas. And they introduced a new concept because, well, something changed in the world of independent wrestling, where a lot of promotions used to make a little bit of money off YouTube, and it doesn't exist anymore. YouTube changed their policies, and they deem wrestling in terms of, I forget the word. I don't know if it's like questionable material or something like that. Almost where like they basically took away any sort of like the What Culture Pro Wrestling would get a lot of views on their things, and they get money from the ads. They took away all that.
Well, wait. So now, if you have wrestling on YouTube, you can't get the money from the advertisements.
They reduced it substantially, where it's
whoa. I wonder why they did that.
I don't know I don't know what the exact reason was. Maybe I should have done my homework more. But even places like our buddy Grimm from Grimm's Toy Show, who has a massive following, who he was doing well with it, they took it away because it's like whatever the questionable or suggestive material. I don't know if it's something from maybe something that has to do with WWE, because I doubt they took that away, but it's just something that has hurt a lot of independent promotions that revolve heavily on YouTube as some income coming in.
That makes me happy now. Not for them, but that I haven't. That's the one thing I haven't really YouTube's. I have a YouTube channel that we put the podcast on, but I haven't.
Sure.
I haven't really. It's just never clicked with me. I never explored that avenue. And I'm glad I didn't now, because that would have been disappointing to see. If
it sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Wrestle Circus introduced a new concept where they actually had people that could watch their show for free, and they had a thing through some sort of streaming website where you could actually tip the pro wrestlers. If you liked what they were doing, or you felt like you wanted to donate monetarily, you could actually click on something and give money to them. Which I actually thought, like, hey, who cares? Why not? I'm an independent wrestling promoter. You want to do that? I think there's nothing wrong with that. But Gabe Sapolsky of Evolve had huge words basically condemning this promotion on how they're basically robbing the fans and that's how poor that is to do something like that. I don't know if you had any.
So again, we tip for everything else in life, right? Mm-hmm. You go to a car wash, you tip the people that clean your car. You go to a restaurant, you tip your server. They have tip things on everything now. Literally,
sure.
In like
everything.
Not to say that that's right or wrong, but why can't wrestlers then if the promotions, because the promotions don't pay a lot, right? That's what usually.
No, they don't. No one does.
No, so it's why not? If somebody gives you something of service and you have the option, it's not even like you're in person, face to face, where you feel that pressure that you have to. I see that as completely harmless, personally. That if you just want to give them the option, I mean, again. There is no right or wrong. Like really in this world, there is not no right or wrong. It's only what you believe. So it's I don't see how it hurts. It's not like they're saying you must tip. If Ryback does 3 splashes, you must tip him $10 or just like it's.
Imagine that was a thing.
That would be pretty funny, actually.
You get tipped and you get a thing. You're like, fuck, I have to go do this move. All right.
For every time the Ryback turns into the big gay Ryback in the match, you tip him $20 and just wrestling revolving around tips. Just whoring myself in the middle of that ring. Give me your dollars. No, I mean, everyone, people agree, disagree all the time. So it's whatever.
I thought the same thing as you, but because I get a little frustrated because it's hard for me to book, I book a lot of independent darlings on occasion, and a lot of them will not confirm the date, even though I guarantee I pay them a lot more than these, quote, well-respected Smart Mark promotions. They will hold the dates for them because it all comes down to the fear of upsetting the promoter who has the in with Triple H. And that is a fucking legit thing.
Whoa.
And it kind of, it sucks. Even though they'll make more money at my show, they will, I'll just I need to get in line and do what I can in hopes for that fucking deal one day.
Living in fear is the worst way to live. I have nothing to say about that. I'm glad I don't have to live through that shit. So,
what else do we have this week? I had a couple other things here.
We touched on it on the beginning of the show, Pat. You're supposed to be. God damn it, where's Conrad? Conrad! Hey!
I do have a lot of notes here. My favorite thing of this week that came out, I don't know if you heard old Scotty Steiner's interview.
But then you take my 75% chance of winning. If we used to go one-on-one and then add 66 and 2/3%, I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at sacrifice.
I actually, we talked about this before, and I saw part of it. Yeah, that was. Go ahead and catch everybody else up on that.
Well, he said a lot of things, kind of questioning. Questioning's a light way to put it. WWE.
Scott Steiner was like my guy when I was younger. I
wouldn't expect that.
My first AOL screen name was Big Papa Superstar 89037. Whatever my zip code was a kid. And I bleached my hair. I had short hair and bleached it. I'll have to put a picture up this week of I had the short bleached hair just like him for a brief. That was my huge. I was always a positive, great fan. I call fucking marks are the negative ones. Huge Scott Steiner fan growing up. And
that's right. My screen name was Buff Buck 13 in tribute to Buff Bagwell.
Everybody out there at some point. I loved wrestling, but I didn't wear the shirts around. I didn't wear the fucking championships around and shit like that. But, I bleached my fucking hair just like them, and I maybe kissed my biceps from time to time when I was flexing in the mirror as a kid. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, I've always, when he was in his prime, fuck. But what'd he say?
Well, he said a lot of things. The most hilarious things I saw was making fun of the Hall of Fame, how there's no physical Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact quote, but that was one thing. But the main thing I got from that, this was reported by Ryan Satin on his website, is that Scott Steiner claims he had back in 1998 to 1999, I broke Wilt Chamberlain's record by sleeping with 15,000 women. He also added, I always thought that even though it's not listed in the Book of World Records, I was a fan of Wilt Chamberlain, and that was the one world record I needed to break. In 1999, I broke it. And for those doing the math, that meant that Scott Steiner slept with 41 women a day.
Wait, is that for his entire...
For 1 year.
Oh, he was saying for 1 year, that's what... fuck yeah, that's great. If you don't know that's just him, he's the man. Either way, the fact that Ryan Satin reported that, Jesus Christ, Ryan, fuck. Fucking Mark.
I love it. That's what I want to see.
No, but I know he had some comment. He's always been, he speaks his mind, and he's, I don't know what his history with Triple H is or whatnot, and whatnot. And I can't speak on that, or anything of that nature. So, but he, I've always said, with Hunter, I put WWE over, I feel like, on a lot of things and whatnot, and I say my truth on different things, and I don't know what his history is, so why, and obviously he's angry over certain things and whatnot, but anything could be rectified and smoothed over, and he even says it, just pay him. It's,
yeah,
he would accept it. He should be in the WWE Hall of Fame 100%. There's no, guys like him, they all paved the way for us.
Yeah. Him as the Steiners or as his singles run. I believe both are Hall of Fame worthy.
Everybody that performed, that entire generation, those guys are really big guy tips his
real
hat.
men.
Yeah, they are. They're real men. It's what fucking just, I wish I could have I would have thrived in that era. I would have been all gassed up, Pat. 345, 50 pounds. I would have been dead. I wouldn't be alive right now, but I would have been at the peak. I would have fucking, God.
You would have been in that No Limit gang with Swole and
I would have been too big to wrestle. I would have just been a walking ball of water. Because it's good for you. Oh, well, I'll do more. Feed me more.
That's really all I got for the wrestling stuff. this week, except for, nope, let's get to this. I missed this because it was on the top of the list and we talked about it early on.
Yeah.
During Raw, I noticed something that stood out to me because I noticed, they'll occasionally plug something for the WWE Network, and a graphic popped up with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho right along. And I thought right away that was really peculiar to me because timing-wise, they're not involved anymore. And Owens is on to his next thing. And I saw it a couple times. And I thought, like, what the fuck is with this? Now, I didn't watch it at first. You saw it. You told me about it.
Yeah.
I went back and watched it. But you were referenced in that. And I don't know if you want to take it from here and kind of talk about that because...
No, they. First of all, thank you to WWE for putting me on your programming still. It's, good or bad, publicity is publicity, so thank you. Kevin, they were referencing Mark Henry breaking an apple with his hands. Yeah. And that's something up there I had routinely on different occasions. That was always the thing with the Brooklyn Brawler. I would go and smash an apple with him, and like he would get pissed off because he likes being the strong guy. And Brawler couldn't do it.
Brawler does?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Wade was involved in this, Stu Bennett. It was kind of a joke for a while, my first couple of years up there, where I would get an apple and like smash an apple in front of Brawler, and like I go, you can't fucking do it, and he would get he'd get hot over it. But Brawler finally, this is pretty funny. I mean, sitting in catering one time, literally sitting down eating my food, and Brawler had gotten an apple, and to this day, I'm just gonna tell the truth on this situation. He softened the apple up by like digging his fingers into it over and over again and getting pre little cracks in the apple.
Okay.
And he comes into catering just like a ball of fire, just fucking hot baby face, storms into catering. I'm sitting at the table eating, Ryback, you never I can break this fucking apple. And he fucking just comes over the table, and breaks the apple right over, like on the table, all over my food and all over the table. And I told you I could fucking break the apple. You guys see that? I broke the fucking apple. And I'm sitting there and I have this plate of like chicken and steak, and I'm like looking at him. I'm looking at my food, it's like all fucking apple sauced out. I go, that's great. You just ruined my fucking food. And like he literally turned around and stormed out of there to go tell everybody he smashed the apple. And I had to listen to him tell this story for years. He did smash the apple. I am convinced so, because he could never break an apple that I gave him. That he got this apple ahead of time and did something to it in which anybody else that was there for that knows I'm not that is the truth of the situation. But anyways, so they referenced something on the show where Mark Henry's strong as fuck, or he always was. He's legit was one of the strongest men of the world at some point, and he smashed an apple for Chris or something something along the lines of that, in which Kevin then mentioned about a pre-tape that me and him, or not a pre-tape, we actually had to do it live. It was supposed to be a pre-tape where we were in Baltimore. I remember this very vividly, where he was eating or tossing an apple in his hand kind of during the interaction me and him had. I believe I was the IC champion at the time still. And he, at the end of it, was like, toss the apple to me. And then I catch the apple and then smash the apple in my hand. And like, it's cool. Well, yeah, we did it in the first take and I smashed the fucking apple. But for whatever reason, in WWE, and this happens all the time there, camera guys or like the production guys fuck up and they got to redo something because they mess up something on their end.
So it wasn't really live, or was it?
No.
How does that work?
We were supposed to pre-tape it. So we did it and we pre-tape it. Bam, we nail it. But something was wrong with the camera or something like production-wise where they go, no, you got to redo it. So we go to fucking redo it. And on this one, and like eventually I couldn't do it. What happened? I ripped my fucking nail off. On one of my, as I was going to fucking break the apple, my finger was breaking into the apple, and my fingernails were not probably short at the time, fucking ripped off like halfway. And I was like, I didn't sell it. I was like, fuck. And then I couldn't fucking break. It hurt so bad, but whatever. So I think we tried it one other time. I couldn't do it. And I said, fuck it. Let's ditch the apple. And we ditched the apple and ended up doing the live. We did it live with no apple. And but I was like, I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's not the full fucking story, which isn't his fault. They probably edited that to make it like, well, Ryback can't break an apple. So I broke one on social media, which wasn't my best break, but I'm just like, Jesus Christ, of all the things, like, let's make sure if you guys want to go ahead and throw, like, the rise and fall or whatever, the disaster of Ryback, you got, all you can fucking find is you'll find the Tenzai fucking botch, the Heyman botch on a live event. I can name them all. There's literally only 3 or 4 of them. And then make sure you go ahead and put the entire comeback I did in Hawaii on a broken ankle with a broken leg. Not just a torn quad or anything else, literally breaking my ankle and my leg every step that I took in feeding an entire comeback that you say the tape doesn't exist. Make sure you show that one too on old Ryback's botches. So, But thank you, WWE, nonetheless.
I thought it was an interesting show because I watched it too and I was like, all right, well, they had that. Before they had that, they, the conversations with Chris and Kevin, and for anyone that hasn't seen it, go check it out. But the first thing they reference is like, things in Pennsylvania, and they bring up the Rumble that Batista came back for. And they kind of call out Rey Mysterio, saying Rey was number 30, and, he had a really bad reaction from the fans there. But I thought that was really, like, interesting because, if anything, their conversation probably revolved around how the fans literally protested the fact that Batista won. Yeah. And they painted it up like, oh, Rey's
No,
reaction,
that wasn't the Batista one, was it? Or was it?
Sure.
No, that was okay. So yeah,
because he mentions in it like they were so hot for Dan, and then when Rey came out, they were pretty much booing, but they were booing because the whole rumor that everyone knew beforehand was that Batista came back to win this, and it's like, wouldn't that be said? But I noticed that Vince kind of, I feel like, has this love. I mean, rightfully so. He's our favorite wrestler, Batista. But it just was painted in a way that I thought that whole show was interesting because I'm like, all right, so they've said that about you. They said that about Rey Mysterio.
By the way, I remember that one because Dave actually eliminated me on that. And
oh, really?
That whole thing was so unorganized. That whole thing got thrown together last minute. And that was the last one Punk did, I believe. That was before he quit.
Yeah, it was.
And I remember we were all in the back in a room with like Hayes and everybody's there trying to fucking organize it. And the show's going on. And we don't even know. Nobody knows anything yet. Like it was that unorganized at that point. But Dave, when he knew he was eliminating me and he came over and he goes, Jesus Christ. He goes, what the fuck are they doing with you? Like just that. And I go, it's a long story. And he already knew. And he goes, well, I want to like make you look as good as I can before. And I said, I go, honestly, at this point, I go, nothing fucking matters. We had like a little stare off or something where you could see us physically side by side.
Okay.
And that was cool of him that was him just like being cool and like just, and then we had a little interaction where I think he backdropped me out over the corner where I went out and we took a decent bump for him out over the corner. So, but I like him a lot, man. He's just a cool dude. I'm glad he's had all this success. But yeah, I thought when I saw the ride along show, it was I had some things people mentioning that I was mentioned, and because I've never watched the show until I put that one on, and then I watched it from the beginning because I didn't know where the part was where I was like, I want to see what they say, and it was a little negative, just the overall theme of the show, I thought, and I was just like,
absolutely,
I'm not, and it's fine, whatever. And again, people got to understand, like, this stuff is scripted TV shows for WWE. These guys probably are. I don't know. I never did a ride along, but I would imagine if it's the E and all that, they're total divas. Like that shit's more fake than wrestling. Like it's all that's reality TV in general is more fake than real. Like it's just that's the whole gimmick of it. But it's just real life interactions and it's weird how they fucking do it. But I wouldn't be shocked if they give the guys bullet points from a writing.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't. Don't quote me. That's not a fact or anything. But
okay.
The fact that I was just like, kind of negative on and like the Byron Saxton's one of the greatest human beings alive.
Yes, they're such a nice guy.
And I like all the people that were, Corey Graves, I like him. I've talked to him. I just saw him recently at a live event thing I did at his show back east, and he's a great guy. I was just Byron Saxton. Like I've never I've never once like talked shit to him or joked about him or anything. I was like I've gotten along with him from day one because he's a good human being, and so that's one of the bad things about wrestling. Kind of, I think if you're nice sometimes or too nice, guys will prey on that to just pick on you or just like talk shit because whether it's in playful fun or not, it's like you're on a TV show talking bad about a guy. And I don't know if it seems like to me, I was like, I can just see that being the directive because he's such a good guy. I just have I don't believe anyone would talk bad about him. So
it was in a teasing nature, but it was like almost the whole thing. And I love Corey Graves too. And I think people, if they knew his like whole story, would have even more respect for him. I remember him in OVW just fighting for a job and as a wrestler, and he went through it all. But
I don't even know. We should talk about that sometime.
Yeah, I just remember that he'd be down there and like people really kind of. He was a hard comparison to Punk because he had the similar hair, similar builds, and it was probably really tough to stand out. And he was always a good wrestler when he looked that part, and he was a decent size, decent look, and he always did well. But I remember they didn't hire him then, and then years later they finally did.
Yeah,
and he transitioned and had the stuff going on with the. From being a wrestler, and so he's created the best life he possibly can by being.
I told him I told him he hasn't made. I go
hasn't made.
I go you don't have to kill your body. You have TV presence, and he lives in Stamford now, and he has to do stuff during the week at the office. But it's outside of getting out, and obviously wrestling is there's nothing in the world like it. But that's the next best thing, and you get to you don't have to kill your body. Anymore.
And he's good at it.
Yeah.
He's really good at what he does.
And you get to have a personality still and be creative and whatnot to some degree. So I'm happy for him that he was able to turn a negative into a positive.
So my whole point with this show is I thought it was kind of weird to see that you were mentioned, Rey Mysterio was mentioned. I even thought that the way they kind of portrayed Nia Jax was almost in like even though she's talking in an unlikable, almost humorous way where she's talking about a diner and getting food in the beginning, and the last thing that because they can edit anything they want out.
Oh yeah, those car rides are usually probably 3 hour at least car rides, so they get enough footage, I would imagine.
And the last line that they have is before they go in the hotel. She's like, "Oh, I'm just so hungry right now." I'm like, "Why is that left in?"
Yeah,
I just thought that was really a weird thing. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just thought, "Oh, this is just." Of
all the things that you could put on there, yeah, it's kind of shitty to end it with.
Let's just poke fun at people that aren't here and that are here, and that it just that's all I got from that.
Yeah, no, that's what they do. So I thank you guys for putting me on the show. I don't care. You guys can talk shit about me all you want. I know the truth, and the people that know me know the truth, and the millions of people that support me all over the world. So it's all right. I'm too sweet, brother.
Let's take a little break. We'll be back after this.
Damn it! I think I broke a nail. Ouch. Hey guys, it's the big gay Ryback, and I'm here to tell you about the Feed Me More merch, available only on Amazon. We have a wide selection, everything the big guy Ryback, Feed Me More nutrition, and we have everything available in men's, women's, and youth sizes, in multiple colors also for each design. You guys, you have to check out the Feed Me More merch only on Amazon. It is truly one of a kind, like me. So don't be a snore. Go feed yourself more. I know I will. Feed Me More merch, available on Amazon.
Hey guys, this is the Big Gay's manager, Tickles. You can find the direct link at the top of feedmemore.com. Ooh, I like it on top.
All right, and we're back. Think it's that time, Pat.
Are you ready for the old reviews of the week?
Are you falling asleep on me? It's late over there, I know.
No, I'm awake. I think I drank a little bit too much.
Oh no. Wait.
vodka. I'm okay. No, I'm still going. I'm slurring a little bit, but I'll be all right.
Ooh, this makes me nervous when you start. How the hell did we ever record 6 episodes that one night? I don't know
how people even listen to them. They're all, we might on a future episode listen to our old episodes and just cringe on how bad they are.
I don't think at the time, but they were just shorter episodes. But I remember it was just an entirely different format. It was like at the time I wish we would have known to just do it this way that we do it now, because it's so much more effective and just more relevant and convenient doing it every week. But it was, I think it's a testament that we were able to get through 6 shows at a time. We were recording, I remember, for 5 or 6 hours between stopping and going and everything. And then that's doing a show the next day.
We were motivated, but to try to after wrestling the next day and record for 5-6 hours and drink 3 bottles of wine and
the Pat Buck drunken episode is one of my, to this day, favorite things ever. But I always get little flashbacks of that when I see you can never, I think then we did beer and wine, which was much milder, which we could dude, if we were doing those with hard liquor like this,
oof,
those episodes would never have existed. It would have been we would have woken up and been like, oh man, we only did 2 episodes.
The microphone's still going, recording us.
Lord coming over, and we're in our whitey tighties with vodka and fudge sickles all over us.
And a loaded gun. Check out the last episode for that one. God. Okay, so reviews of the week.
Reviews of the week.
I have 2 here. From our lovely overseas listeners. 2 foreign and 1 domestic. Okay. So let's see how this goes. I really hope it goes a certain way this week. I encourage reviews
from all over the globe, guys. The big guy loves you. Shipping isn't cheap everywhere, but again, that has no effect on anything being decided, just so you know.
Well, I find that a little hard to believe, but nonetheless, these reviews are a bit shorter compared to our normal ones, and we've talked a lot. We want to get to all of our different segments. The first review is from Australia.
That's far.
From JRG MIZ, so JRG Miz. 1 sentence: if you don't like this podcast, you're a mark.
That's a great review. Solid review. Yeah.
Next one is another one from Australia, so I know you're a big fan of this. It says, awesome, by Adam Gilbert. Great behind-the-scene insights into pro wrestling and all the politics that are involved with WWE and the independents. Fantastic podcast.
Okay, not bad.
The last review is from the United States. All right? It says boring.
Wait, I thought this was good. We were supposed to do good reviews, I thought. Oh.
I just picked any sort of review. I don't know if it's reviews of the week. I didn't know if it's good reviews or bad reviews.
But go ahead. No, read the review. Maybe he's talking about other podcasts, so go ahead.
It's by Let-Me-Writes. Just 2 failures of wrestlers. One from WWE and one from the independents. And at least once per episode, they go on about Vince McMahon or John Cena or Triple H. 2 losers. And that one's from the United States.
But what did he rate us star-wise?
The other 2 reviews. He gave the old 1 star.
Okay.
So I don't know which ones you're going to pick. What do you think out of these 3, both two foreign ones and 1 domestic? Which one do you think is the winner this week?
So Pat, sometimes I just hear something, and the initial instinct in the human mind is to get angry when you hear something negative about you, especially when it's not true, and everything that this fucking Mark said is not true. But at the same time, to kind of take a page out of Dr. Martin Luther King's book, you sometimes just got to turn the other cheek, and and he always has that quote, I can't quote it off the top of my head, about darkness cannot drive out darkness, and hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can essentially solve the problem. And I can't help but feel overwhelmed right now to want to give love to his hate, Pat. The guy obviously is not in a good place. He's probably in a very bad place to feel the need. He listens to the show and to hate a show so much and to give a critique that's not even true. You could only pick a handful of times out of all the episodes where we shared some insight on different things that were completely true. I want to maybe give this guy a little Feed Me More nutrition and maybe help him feel a little better. Maybe he needs a little wake up unlimited energy in his life. Maybe he suffers from low testosterone and he's a fucking mark that can't get it up and fucking he's depressed as fuck and he hears two guys that are successful and happy in life and he gets angry at that. So maybe Pat, I can change his life around by saying, you know what? What's his name?
Let-me
whatever.
right.
Send the big guy at feedmemore.com an email with your name and address because you're this week's winner, pal. I'm going to change your life. I'm going to turn that frown upside down. And I want to take a negative, your life, and turn it into a positive. And that's what Pat, he's our fucking winner.
All right. So the guy that wrote boring in a 1-star review.
Pat, sometimes you got to turn the other cheek. You got to be the bigger man. You got to put your hand out. A guy spits in your face. The initial reaction is to throw a working fucking big boot back at him or a working punch. But in this case, I stick my hand out to shake my hand, pal. Let's fucking squash our differences.
Something a little fishy about this, but hey, that's you're the judge on this one, and congratulations to our
I encourage
to our
all
winner
reviews,
this week.
Pat. It's never been about just good reviews. Never. So, but thank you. Thank everybody, all great reviews. We appreciate your feedback. Also, guys, if you do, this is a problem, Pat, for this week. I've encountered this from a winner from 2 or 3 weeks ago. Guys, I'm not a psychic mind reader. If you email me and you don't tell me the supplement that you want along with the free workout towel and shaker bottle, that if you don't give me an address and you message me weeks later saying where's my stuff, and then I respond to you and just say what supplement would you like and what is your address, and then you tell me your supplement that you want, but you still don't give me your address, put me in a tough position that I really like. This week's winner got a hold of me. Perfect screenshot, address, supplement. His stuff goes out tomorrow morning in the mail. I cannot work miracles if I don't have the address, guys. I'm just saying, okay? I just wanted to throw that out there.
So I think it's time for the old questions, isn't it?
Go ahead, hit me with some questions, Buck.
I got a question.
From Andrew Willett on Twitter, AW CrossFit 1986. What ingredient in fat burners is it that makes a person all jittery?
It could be different things. Caffeine can make you jittery if you're very sensitive to caffeine. There's all different forms of stimulants. Even I'm trying to think of some other ones off the top of my head because I don't take this stuff. Like things that are bad for you like that. It's been so many years since I've taken them that it's. But like ephedrine used to be one of the things that would really that they still have other forms of ephedrine out there that can make you really jittery and whatnot. But synephrine, 19 norepinephrine. There's orange citrus, I believe, is another one. It's like an orange citrus type thing. It's a stimulant that's in a lot of those things. Put me on the spot a little bit on this, but things like that, they're not good for you essentially, or maybe it's in small doses for small periods of time, but they're not. Outside of caffeine, you don't want to stack stimulant with like. It's okay to have one or two in normal amounts, but when they start putting these other ones in high amounts, just to get you all cracked out, just so you feel like the supplement's doing something, and then you crash. Usually if a supplement makes you crash, that gives you all your answers. That's the way I look at it on all that. But those are some things. It's orange. It's something it's bitter orange is what it is. Okay. Is the name of it. But yeah, it's the Shell Shock Extreme Fat Burner will have none of that stuff outside of a little bit of caffeine.
I got a question.
Next question from Nathan Erickson Nat on Twitter. Any tips to save the knees while lifting?
There's getting knee wraps, or I was wrestling in them for a while actually, but they actually weigh your legs down really bad wearing them. But they give great knee support. They're squatting knee pads. I forget the name of them. I'll post a picture of them.
Is it Mava? Is that the name of them or no?
No, not that I believe.
Okay.
But if you like typed in on Amazon or on Google like squatting knee pads, you'll get all the different like the heavy duty like tight knee pads. Those things are great for you. Like when I was before all this stuff on the stem cells and everything, when I was like squatting heavy and deadlifting heavy, I'd wear these knee things, and you'll see Cena has them on some of his lifts.
Yeah.
On most of them, actually. Like it just gives you that extra support when you're lifting. Just type in squatting knee pads or something along that, and they'll come up. I forget the exact name. I have them in my garage in my gym. So,
I got a question.
Okay, this question's from Buck Never Stops on Twitter. What's the difference between a front squat and a back squat? And it's from me, but like, do you do a front squat at all with the weight? Is there?
Yeah.
What's the difference between doing those two lifts?
So a front squat primarily works more of your quads because the weight is balanced in the front of you. There's different techniques for holding the bar on a front squat. I am a big. You'll see some people put the bar across like their chest and sternum and cross their hands. Which is not recommended based on different books that I've read. The more athletic way and the better way, I feel personally, everybody's different. Some guys might just be way more comfortable in that, and that's fine. Is where you kind of have your hands, your elbows up high and your hands under the bar with it resting on that. But you need good flexibility to do that. But that's the way that I've done it. I actually posted a video. I only did those. I did them briefly. My shoulder got so bad that my shoulder was cracking on that movement so bad I had to stop. But I got up to doing 405 for reps on that with the front squat. But it is you got to really have your shit together, and form is very important. But the purpose of the front squat is to stress your quads more, whereas a regular squat is more, and you can do much more weight on a regular squat. Essentially, you should be able to with proper form. And when you're doing it right, you're working your hamstring, your glutes, and just your hips, and your hip flexors, and your core is really because you're doing the proper. It depends whether you're doing a bodybuilding squat or an Olympic squat. But front squats work your quads more. Simple answer.
I got a question.
All right. From Matt Scott at MattScottGW on Twitter. Hey guys, I finished Ryback and AJ Lee's books recently. Wondering if either of you have any books you recommended by people in the business.
Justin Roberts' book is really good. I think that gives you an insight into an announcer's life, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Justin can be annoying at times, and anyone that knows it. And that's not. I'm sure we all can be. But he will self-admittedly probably will say that himself. But he has a great heart, and he's a great human being. And he wrote a hell of a book. So I would check that one out next that I could personally recommend. I've read a lot of wrestling autobiographies over the years, and I got my book case of them. Bob Backlund's book, another one that, again, it's entirely different than Justin's, but it will give you insight into how the WWF became the WWF into the WWE. And that one's well worth checking out also.
And for me, I recommend Ole Anderson's book, just because I'm a big fan of Ole and how he's unbelievably unliked and salty, but he's really smart. And I don't know, it's just interesting to me. He's my spirit animal.
Is that on Audio Boom too, you think?
I don't know.
What's the name of his book? I would. Him and Booker's are two that I want to actually read.
Inside Out: How corporate America destroyed pro wrestling.
Okay.
So, and I mean, he's one of those guys that Ole Anderson for a while, back in like the 80s, as a booker, was making like $250,000 a year, like just off his position, his knowledge. Like he smart dude that super salty though, and has his like married to his opinions, but it's interesting to me.
Well, I've heard that term salty. I've never used it. What is salty? What is that like equivalent to bitter?
He hates everybody. I mean, and I think bitter is. I consider myself bitter. I'm bitter at things, but like I do stuff about it, and I'm motivated by it. But like Oli pretty much hates everybody in wrestling. Like, you can hear it on his interviews. You could hear it like he doesn't compliment anybody.
Okay,
like he's really.
I've been oblivious. I've never even checked. Okay, I don't know anything about it.
I got a question.
Next question from Michael Norton, DJ Guilty on Twitter. For both of you, any time that someone during a match made you so pissed off that you wanted to legit beat their ass right then or even in the back?
No, not off the.
Yeah.
I can't think of any match where I'm just trying to think in my head of Rolodex of matches over the years that of a situation where I was angry or anything and pissed off. No, not off the top of my head. I can't think of anything.
Same thing here. Nothing.
I got a question.
From Kevin Thorne, Mordecai. Can I get some supplements so I look as good as Buck Never Stops for the next WrestlePro show I'm on? They obviously work.
I like Kevin Thorne a lot, and absolutely, they're available on Amazon and on feedmemore.com. There's some 10% discount codes going around. I believe Podcast 10. If you listen to this Podcast 10, you can save 10% on feedmemore.com on all Feed Me More nutrition.
I got a question.
Last question from Zach Fincher. When will we see the debut of Big Gay Ryback? And how many weeks of vignettes will we expect from him on the podcast?
That Big Gay Ryback has been a huge hit with everybody, which is thoroughly popped me. I think he's just going to be a character on the show from time to time, and I wouldn't pigeonhole myself outside of. I would if Glow approached me and said for the Big Gay Ryback, I would
penis on the singlets.
I would give it consideration. Outside of that, no, absolutely not. Outside of this podcast.
All right, those are your questions for the week, and I think we'll transition into your old tips.
All right, yeah, tips of the week, guys. This week, tips of the week, yay! The book of the week. Last week, it's by the same author, Jen Sincero. This one is her first book. Last week was about money. This is You Are a Badass. How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. And I just finished that book this week. Pat, I suggest you check it out. It's a very motivating book. And
okay.
It's this woman, it's just motivating. You'll get it. You'll listen to it and it'll resonate with you greatly. Quote of the week this week. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. And that's by Abraham Lincoln. And I just think it's just everything is how we perceive it and what we choose to make it. And you can focus on the negative or focus on the positive. So, bottom line is, though, you got to work your ass off either way. Nutrition tip of the week. Adding a daily multivitamin to your diet could make a great difference for you. Our bodies need vitamins and minerals to function properly, and more often than not, our daily diet isn't always enough. It can increase energy levels, improve mood, reduce stress, improve short-term memory, and help maintain muscle strength. The brand that I personally use right now, and again, I will be doing a multivitamin in the future, but I always just tell you guys straight up, the brand that I have used for years on end is AST Multi-Pro. They have it on Amazon and the AST website. They have a website too, but I know Amazon is the most efficient way for me to get it, where it's usually here in a few days. And that's by AST Multi-Pro. I don't get anything from it. It's a sports vitamin. I take it twice a day, and it definitely is worth checking out. Multivitamins are very important because we usually don't get the amount that we need in the different vitamins from our diet alone. Workout fitness tip. If you lack motivation working out, try including a workout partner, guys. It's I love working out alone. I actually hate workout partners. I think if you don't,
Me too.
I think if you lack motivation from within, it's like I don't get that. It doesn't resonate with me. But a lot of people do, and we're not all alike, and I'm well aware of that. And workout partners definitely have their place. So find somebody that's going to help push you and who is someone who's going to be essentially somebody better than you, that you don't want to go work out at the gym and just be playing on your phones and talking and chatting the whole time. You don't want somebody lazier than you. You want somebody that's going to make you raise your workout level and push you if that's something that you lack, because you need to improve in that skill. So if you need a workout partner, there's no shame in doing it. If that's what helps get you motivated, or maybe hopefully eventually you can work out on your own. So, I always say too, if a workout partner is not an option, headphones, put on something, a podcast that you like, music that motivates you, meditation. I always do my meditation my first hour working out, then I put on the music that motivates me, and I finish my workout with that. So that's the tips of the week this week, guys.
All right, great. I think we'll be back. One more break, and we'll get to our main events.
We'll be right back after this, guys.
Hey, everyone. In addition to being the co-host of this podcast, I'm the founder and promoter of WrestlePro. Dare I say, WrestlePro puts on the best professional wrestling live events in the country. We're also fully insured and licensed. Now, if you're listening to the show, then you clearly love professional wrestling, and I appreciate that. But I also have a question for you. Would you like professional wrestling in your area, maybe in your hometown, your high school, your college, your civic center, your stadium, whatever you want? If you're a civic group, a sports team, a fire department, a police department, if you have a corporate event, a festival, any group that is looking to raise funds or put on an entertaining show, WrestlePro is your promotion. This is not your regular wrestling show. Just in the last year, WrestlePro has brought in incredible talent such as Terry Funk, DDP, Booker T, Ryback, Cody Rhodes, Hornswoggle, Colt Cabana, Brian Cage, Jeff Jarrett, Tommy Dreamer, the Hardy Boys, Scott Steiner, and much, much more. Even the Nature Boy Ric Flair has been with WrestlePro and loves it. Tell him, Nate.
It's the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair, WrestlePro, the Nature Boy, signing autographs. Look as only can look. WrestlePro, be there. Woo, 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 woo. Limousine riding, jet flying. Woo! WrestlePro. Woo!
If you're seriously interested, WrestlePro can bring a live wrestling show to your town. A full professional wrestling card complete with talent, 8 matches, sound system, lighting, the works. We design the artwork and posters. We help you sell the tickets. We push all of our events all over our social media. We believe in good repeat business. Packages and prices vary on talent requested and their availability. For more information, contact me directly at WrestleProOnline@yahoo.com or simply check out www.WrestleProOnline.com and you can see our past and upcoming events to get a taste of what WrestlePro is all about. I hope to hear from you soon.
Celebrate Independence Day with 20% off Feed Me More Nutrition and everything on feedmemore.com. Use discount code Independence20. That's discount code Independence20. Promotion ends midnight, July 4th.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following segment is your main event of the podcast.
All right, guys, and we're back for our main event of the evening. Our top 10 guys who we would like to see in the WWE today, or just the 10 that we think that are that have the best chance at this point in time and can maybe fill out the roster a little better.
I think also, mind you, I don't know if your picks will be different from mine. I'm sure we're going to have the same people on this list. But I also picked people that I thought would just be, that haven't been on TV for a long time, or people that, you know, I have a couple questionable, interesting picks. But let's just see where this goes, should we?
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you start us off? Your number 10.
So my number 10 pick is Bobby Roode from obviously from NXT and from his.
And just to cut you off, and he's my number 10 pick as well. Just so we were on this, but go ahead.
We just became best friends again. So
there's a reason why we do this podcast.
Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Bobby, I just feel like the mix of, he's one of NXT's top guys, and I kind of get the whole, we're making NXT a brand, but at the end of the day, NXT, no matter how much you like it, even if it's a touring brand, it's It's there as a support system for WWE. Like there's no for SmackDown and Raw. Like that's it. You can't fucking argue with that. And
they found a way to make money with it finally before where developmental used to cost them money.
Yeah.
Developmental now makes them money. So that's the
best way to put it.
That's all that it is. Yeah.
Best way to put it. So, but and I get they need featured performers there to make them more money, but they need guys. Bobby hit the home run with being a great worker, good history. He's 40 years old.
Wow, he's 40 years old?
He's 40 years old, yeah.
Jesus.
He's been
that's okay.
Around a long time. Great theme music, great presentation. Put him on the fucking roster. Get the title off him. Let's bump him up, and let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the vibe I get with it. I think he has a theme song that seems to be kind of catchy, where people are kind of the theme song elicits a reaction. And I just felt like I was like trying to talk in my I was like but I think that the same thing. Let's see at that age, if he's 40, let's go ahead and see what he can do here and get him to the main roster.
All right.
Number 9, I'll go ahead. My number 9, Pat. I put Asuka.
Okay.
I think she's been down there now and having a Japanese female wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's not one on the roster right now, so that
sure
in the female division. I don't know if she can climb a ladder or not. Probably. She's a woman. I don't know.
Probably not.
But it's. But you know what I mean. I think she's ready to go up, and I think the women's division could use an extra female wrestler. So
sure, good pick. My number 9 is outside of WWE. I don't know how he'd fit into the PG products, but I know I'd want to see it, and I know how they want to address it. Would be Joey Ryan.
I left him off my list, and that's a great one.
Just for the guy embodies. It drives me nuts when people critique Joey for the fact that he's gotten over in an industry that's without. Yeah, he's had a minute portion of TV time. Joey's a smart dude and well respected by all the boys. Involved in multiple different facets from promoting and behind the scenes stuff, and as a worker himself. But I can't stand it when people critique the fact that his dick throw, is the most. It's his gimmick. It's over.
Yeah. What are you insulted that he's insulting your intelligence because you're watching fake fighting to begin with? You fucking mark. Who the fuck cares? He found a way to be successful and make money. God, no matter what you do in life, people are going to bitch and complain and whine, and it's always the ones that haven't done jack shit with their lives. So that's just. Who cares? Joey Ryan, I tip my big guy hat off to you.
He's the Quagmire of pro wrestling. He's a great human being. So I love.
You know what? You can just judge another human being. Like when I met him at one of the shows, your show actually, when me, him, and Cody shared a locker room with you, and I just like talking to him, and I'm like, you just look at a guy, you can just again, it all goes back to the eyes. You get a vibe off someone. I was like, man. This just seems like a good dude I would enjoy being around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's friends with guys that I'm friendly with, and like it's fuck. Who cares what losers think? Joey Ryan, keep doing your thing.
I'll go. We'll keep this. We like doing our list draft style, so I'll go to my number 8. Tyson Kidd. I would like to see Tyson back involved. I know what's going on with him, but I want to see. I think Tyson's the perfect person to put on Talking Smack, that show on the network.
Oh, you're just in a role. You're not saying as a wrestler.
No.
You're just saying to be. Yeah.
Some of these
back on TV.
Some of these I have here that aren't wrestling role. I want to hear Tyson Kidd be Tyson Kidd that I know him as, and just talk as much as he possibly can. This is what I was
talking about having guys, and this was never a knock on like Sam Roberts or the. God damn it! I never remember his name.
Peter Rosenberg.
The other guy, Peter Rosenberg. Sorry, Peter. That having a guy like Tyson Kidd in there.
Yeah.
That we all know him for, and he's
devoted his life to wrestling, has done everything. Yeah.
That's the guy I want to see on the panel, and that's who and he will blow those guys away.
Yeah.
No offense, because he's lived it and done it, and it's a whole other level. It's night and day, and he would, and just the fans like that. He's already known. I just think he deserves to have that TV recognition if he wants it.
If he wants
not
it,
everybody. Yeah, if he wants it. That's. But he would really thrive in that position, I believe. That's a great pick.
Your turn, big guy.
My number 8 again. I picked Kenta, and the reason I picked him is I think it's that sink or swim time. They got to bring him up.
Absolutely.
And just get him the fuck out of developmental. I think that's the worst thing for him, that he's been in that, and like eventually that can. It's like you got this hot prospect and you keep him in AAA year after year. Eventually, it starts mind fucking the guy.
Yeah.
And not to say, he had the injuries and he overcame them. Just get him up there. Whether it's doing dark matches for a fucking year or 6 months, just get him in the mix, get him up there, get him making some money, and get him out of developmental. He doesn't need to be there.
For a guy that established so much in Japan, and I've seen the way, I don't know I don't think they've used him in a negative light at all, the NXT, but I agree. Get him fucking out there.
It's not that they've used him in negative light. There comes a point in a man's life that you got to just get it. Like, he needs to see if he's going to be the guy to make you money or not, or if he can be in a role. If not, let him go back home, and it will just be the best for all parties involved. If it works out, fuck yeah, let's go with it. But get him out. Don't keep him in purgatory any longer.
That's kind of the vibe I get when you watch him in NXT. And I actually, while I was doing cardio today, I watched him in Biff Busick, Oni Lauren on NXT work a match. If I'm saying that name wrong, I apologize. It's a fucking hard name to say. And I got the vibe. I'm like, man, there's nothing happening here. And you look at him, you know how much success he's had amongst the boys and in Japan. But it's not translating. I know guys like him in NXT, that fucking 400-person crowd, chants for him. But to me,
completely different. It doesn't. Again, people. It was like the same. It's been the same way in developmental from day one. It just because you get over in developmental doesn't mean you get over on the main roster. It's totally different. But it's that's the first step to getting out of developmental.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So,
but I just agree. Get him out there. Let's see what happens.
See what he got. I just think it's time. Number 7, Pat. Is it me? Am I up again, or it's your turn now? I just went, so go ahead.
Okay. The one I have is a newer girl to NXT. Her name is Abby Lath. She wrestled as Kimberly on the Independents. And the reason
I don't even know who she is.
The reason why I pick her is because they don't have, at least I don't feel like they have it on SmackDown or Raw, how many indie darlings they have for guys. They don't really have a girl that's necessarily a independent darling. If they do, I can't think of it off the bat.
Is that what she is?
I feel like she kind of, gained her stripes as Kimberly. She was champion at Chikara. She was, very involved with Beyond Wrestling, and she's done a lot of great stuff. Blonde girl, yeah. I don't know if she's dyed her hair. Nah, kind of the natural route, maybe on the smaller to medium side. Pretty girl. She's got herself
just
in
asking
shape.
Nobody, not trying to.
Sure, that stuff's
yeah.
So
I think it's a fair question. I would ask it the same thing for a guy. Blonde, big tits.
And she's always been a really hard worker, but they've yet to kind of have an indie darling female there. So it's like, let's just see what fucking happens. That's the whole reason
the
for
indie
it.
crown turn on her if she gets a tit job.
Oof, good question.
Or a boob job, I should say.
Good question. I don't know. They might.
Could that be what she's missing to get to the main roster? Do you think?
I don't think I think that used to be a thing. I think that's not a thing anymore. Look at the girls.
You think Vince just lost his love of tits all of a sudden?
Man, maybe.
You don't think if she just had a big pair of tits that would make Hunter's conversations with Vince look at this chick? Because obviously the conversation's not worked yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like there's so many girls on
Feed Me More Nutrition's going pretty good, sweetie. If you need a donation, give the big guy a call.
Ryback offers breasts to NXT.
Just getting girls cut up to the main roster on the reg.
But I just feel like a lot of it's God. I think it used to be a requirement. Now, not so much. But Abby Lath is my next pick.
All right. My number 7 is again. I kind of have a theme going a little bit here. Is Eric Young?
Okay.
And I don't know how old he is per se. I feel like he's been around for a while.
I think he's in the 37, 38 years old range.
And I think he's had success with doing different roles throughout his career. And I don't know if I see Sanity going up there per se, just because it's so similar to. I feel like just it reminds me of the Wyatt thing so much, and I don't think any amount of time right now while Bray's there. I think it's just too close. But I think getting Eric Young in the correct role, he's one of those things they might be killing time right now and keeping them relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be a discussion I would have if I was in creative at HQ. Is trying to think, well, what can we bring him up as here and get this guy going on the main roster?
Are you familiar with his work as like a comedic babyface? Did you ever watch that?
I might have seen a brief. Was that over an Impact a little bit back?
All Impact
Yeah,
stuff.
I think I saw a little bit. I know he had the run as champion kind of during the Dan O'Brien thing too.
I believe so, but I don't think
as the
he was
underdog kind of thing. But it wasn't the comedy thing that I saw.
Yeah, like I was a fan of him, and again, some people just aren't big on comedy wrestling, but he connected, and I feel like he's always done whatever role he's given well. You can tell he cares. You can tell he's a decent worker, a good worker, but something about him as a babyface and that comedic element, I feel like that's when he was the most. That's what got him really put on the map, and he got away from that because people told him probably to get away from that. But I don't know, there was something there. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I just think he's. I think he would do well.
My pick, if we're up to number 7, I didn't put this in order. Aleister Black. I don't know if you watched him at all in NXT.
I've heard of him. I think I've seen a little bit, not much, but a little.
He was Tommy End on the Independents. It's weird because they've flirted with the idea of bringing him in for 205 Live, or you've heard reports. He's a taller dude. He's like 6 foot. He looks, big enough where he shouldn't be in that division. Super interesting just entrance. They actually gave him an entrance that was made for Taker, where like it's one of those things that like the whole like an inversion table, it just sits up and he does like everything. The whole presentation's very good. He's a skilled worker. You might want to go back and check this out. They do little things for him they haven't done for guys in a while. They did a good job.
They do a lot of that, I noticed now, by the way. They put a lot more production work into guys, and this isn't a knock on anyone. Guys that are smaller or lack like that X factor or that huge draw, I feel like they give more production to in their entrances and everything else. I've always noticed that. Like I feel like they give guys like that way more because they think the physical aspect isn't there as much.
Mm-hmm.
So they dress it up as much as they can, and they do it better than anybody. But that's not being negative.
No, I understand. With him, I feel like there's something about him where he actually comes. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the smallest guy, but he does come across like, oh shit, this guy could kick someone's ass.
Okay,
and I think that's really important.
Not a bad thing.
Tattooed guy. I think he's from the Netherlands, but they've done a great job on featuring him in NXT, and I think he's going to do well if they keep with those elements. I think he has a chance, a big chance.
Okay, no, that's cool. I'll check out one of his matches here. My number 6 is a guy. He did a little bit. I think he did the Cruiserweight Classic. Zack Sabre Jr. I think is
okay.
He's one of these. He's not a huge guy or anything by any means, but he's not a super small guy either, as far as on the like short end. But I think he's one of the best technical guys out there. Mm-hmm. And not to say it's harder. The TV wrestling is a lot different than independent wrestling, and you got to keep people's attention span. But I think he's creative enough to do it and adjust his style to the WWE style and be successful with it. So I think he would be interesting to see matchups with him on WWE TV.
And I think he actually kind of, under his own premise, I feel like the Cruiserweight thing was painting him that they originally wanted him to be a part, if not the winner of it all. I don't know if I'm right. Yeah. I don't know if I'm wrong. I felt like that was geared towards him. He actually elected not to go with him and do his own thing. Regardless, super talented, might be the best technically sound technician with all the different chain wrestling stuff. Really fun guy to watch. My next one's a really random one, man. And I just think it'd be interesting to put back the main attraction of Raw, or that's treated as, or as WWE, period, is Brock Lesnar. I feel like, as far as the way they treat him, bring him in every now and then. I think people forget a lot that he's married to Sable. I think it'd be interesting to have Sable involved, especially because Brock has this attitude where he doesn't really give a shit about anything. And Sable probably feels the same way. And I just thought it'd be a little bit compelling to kind of have her involved in some way, shape, or form.
You know why this is really good? It reminds me of when they put Austin with Deborah. But on this role, with the way Brock is used, it would essentially, you can create a whole other dynamic with her and problems with her where it makes him, he can adjust his character actually because she, you know what I mean?
It could make him a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that could be something down the road that they could flirt with and to give him a whole other dynamic because he's done the same thing for quite a while and it's still a draw and it still works. But I think that would be a way to give him more personality.
Yeah.
And which would only make him more over, I think, because he's more than capable of doing it. So whether he would want her around or she would want to be back, it's just a podcast and we're all entertainment, but not a bad idea at all.
All right, cool. I questioned that one, but that's one of my picks.
No, I like that one because I think that gives him a whole other dynamic, man. My number 5 is Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
And simply, I was there for his run before, and I've come up with him through developmental, and he's busted his ass, and he deserves to be used in a better fashion than he was the first time around. So I would like to just see, and not to say he has to be champion or anything like that, but it's amazing 3MB is all had kind of some
right?
good success. Yeah. Over the last couple of years. So it would be Drew McIntyre, number 5.
My number 5, which another female.
You're number 4, I believe.
God, I have too many people on this fucking list. Let's just pretend this is number 5.
Pat's drunk, everybody. Let's shh.
I didn't put this in order. Wait, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Are
it
you
is
seeing
fuck.
doubles?
You're right. God damn it. No, you're right. It's 4.
Oh,
but
Pat, I'm always fucking right. Come on.
All right. Paige is my next pick because we don't really know if she is going to be back or if she's not going to be back, even though she's not under contract. But I think we're all looking forward to the fact what the fuck is going to happen when she is back. I just think it's interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes, and I think they could. It would be something to watch.
Yeah, I have no idea about that entire situation. I believe she's under contract. I believe. I don't know though. I'm sure they will bring her back in some. They'll probably, honestly, the way push her really, really hard and then slowly implement it if they choose to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know what they're doing with all that. They it's all a game, and they'll make you think everything's okay, and then the rug gets swept right from under you, or it can be a very gradual process. I don't know. She just might be back and just be fine. You never know. You don't know what they're thinking. It's their company. They can do whatever they want. Number 4 is a big-bodied guy. I think the roster needs some bigger bodies up there. He's an independent darling a little bit, and I actually briefly met him at one of my independent shows for Northeast Wrestling last month. Keith Lee, I think, is a big-bodied guy that would do well on the main roster.
I think he'll be there sooner or later.
I'm kind of I don't know if they want him to lean up anymore or what. He's not like he's a big-bodied guy.
He looks like he could kick someone's ass. Yeah,
that says it all. Mm-hmm. That's all that you need. He can be. He could. And I feel like he has a personality.
Yeah. Oh, so, sure.
Yeah, I would. I think he's due for a main roster call up at some point.
My number 3 is quite the indie darling, which I'm really confused why he's not under WWE contract because he's everywhere and he's Evolve's top person. It's Matt Riddle, former UFC fighter, looks the part.
Was he a UFC fighter?
Yeah, and he did quite well. From what I know, he was undefeated. I don't know how many fights he had there, but like surfer-looking dude, good
yeah,
shape.
I've seen one of his matches. One of the things that this goes into one of our things. He was in a match where I saw them just trade suplex German after German, and I was just like this. It was just such it was such garbage.
Okay.
That I couldn't watch anymore. Like I was just like, this is too much for me. But he can go in the ring.
Yeah.
He would need to adjust his style, obviously. But
I just think it's weird that he's like the top. He's doing so much stuff, and I'm like, why isn't he even? It's like he's not even mentioned for consideration, and I think it's very strange to me. Like I don't know why he's like.
How old is he?
He can't be that old. I mean, if he's around 30, maybe. I'm sure I can Google it real quick, but.
Again, they time things out too. If they have enough guys where he could be on their next crop of guys to come in, where like the next NXT call up. So okay, we need to get 6 more big guys up or guys up here that we think could do something. They got to kind of pace themselves too, so they don't burn guys out being down there for too long and whatnot. So
he's 31 years old. 31.
Okay. He has plenty of time.
Sure. My next number.
No, I'm up.
All right, you're up.
You're so. Oh my God.
No, it's fine. Jesus Christ, I know when I'm bad. I'm not that bad this episode.
You're trying to do 2 picks in a row, asshole.
Sorry, pal.
Okay, my number 3, Ricochet.
Okay.
Even though I just think he's, again, I think his style would have to be adjusted a little bit, but he's more than capable of doing it, and I think he would thrive on the WWE roster.
All right. My number
2.
2, or is it me or you?
You.
Colt Cabana, who never got it. I feel like he never got his fair shake, and
I almost put him on my list.
Really?
Yeah, because I thought the same thing.
So, and I thought he's doing a lot of commentary these days, and I'm like, what better way to have someone? You have Morrow doing his stuff, but I feel like he could be a modern day Jerry the King for this generation. If you have Colt doing, a younger guy being the voice of, there's a certain credibility that comes with being a wrestler. Like Lawler had. Like, oh, we know Jerry the King Lawler, and he's comedic, and he was kind of a heel, but almost in a way, Colt could fill that void as being almost as similar a thing in a way. If not just being a flat-out roster member. There's no one like Colt, I feel like, and people undermine his comedic stuff. He's fucking talented, and he's great in the ring, and he's the best. I love Colt, so...
I enjoyed my match with him, and he's a good human being.
Yeah,
and I think he's that comedy wrestling that he's able to do. That's for me, like you put him on, regardless of how you want to use him on TV. I think he would be a perfect that Santino being gone.
Yeah,
I think he fills the Santino void perfectly.
100%.
And I think in live events, you give those people that comedy match that is desperately needed on live events in between all the seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, they missed the boat on that one. And I think that, and I know they have all the lawsuit stuff going on and whatnot. I think I wish it was just about business, man, because if I was in charge, that would be his role.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
He would be paid accordingly because he's fucking awesome. There might be nobody better at that role than him. So
sure,
he can take guys that aren't comedy guys and do comedy matches with them.
Exactly,
and make it like it's.
He prefers that too, to be with someone that's so plain because he can just do his stuff.
Funnier, yeah. I agree completely. My number 2 is not a comedy guy, but Chris Hero. And I just think it's time with everything. And I think there's that dynamic with him and Cesaro with their past.
Sure, the Kings of Wrestling, yeah.
That I think that could be, and I think they could do something interesting with that if they, with Cesaro leaving Sheamus and going with him. And I just think there's there's something there, and I've never, like, again, you've seen, he doesn't have bad matches.
No, never.
Not to say he always has the greatest matches, but and again, he's back in the system. I think I don't know if he's lost weight since coming back. I don't know. I don't know if he works out or not, or any of that. I would hope that he does now and whatnot, but I just think there's something with Chris Hero.
Sure.
There is.
Great. Yeah. Number 1. All right. I wonder if we have the same number 1.
I bet you we do.
Okay. It's a tag team.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't.
Wow. Okay. My number 1's the Young Bucks. I think that they...
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. No team or independent wrestlers, obviously, like, they are independent wrestling. They're two guys.
Are they in 205 Live?
No, I think that first put them in NXT for a minute, or put them in the tag division on SmackDown. Seems like the better thing, but I actually did think that doesn't even matter at this point. It's unbelievable that at one point these people, they're the most over thing on independent wrestling in terms of self-created independent wrestling guys. They're the wrestling fans. Yeah, and their whole persona, their whole act, their whole presentation, the quality of matches they have. I think it's really ignorant of WWE not to throw the amount of money that they would be okay with taking to have them. And it's almost like if they were ever to go to WWE, which I know eventually they have to, I think they're going to just fucking do it. I think there's a huge gap, though, between the regular wrestling audience and then the casual and people that watch just to watch. I think so, too. I think it's just such a huge But I think they'll be a success. I think with that, people seeing them for the first time will love them. Kids seeing them.
Are they a success going out and losing every match? Because winning and losing is what gets you over in wrestling, because people like winners and they don't like losers.
But they wouldn't be, because then they'd be put under the too sweet umbrella of Hunter, and they wouldn't be losing every match. I don't think.
I know. I'm not. Yeah, no. I like them too, but I don't. I'm just saying it's such a huge. I don't know. I contemplated putting them on my list just for the fact of wanting to see how they would do up there, and what I don't know. So, but that's a good pick.
But I also think that the pay-per-view crowds, NXT is a different thing. It's the same 400 people, but the smarter fans are the ones buying all the tickets to the pay-per-views. So if they're on anything with their backstory, even if they're getting destroyed, they're still going to be over. So I think they will be a success. I don't know. I stick by that. I think it's kind of ridiculous that at one point when they were,
I could tell you could put a guy out there and give them no entrance, and then they're not allowed to do any of their shit. You do that long enough, and nobody will give a fuck about them. That's just the way they.
Oh, I think so too, but I don't think they would ever stand for that.
You have to. Yeah. No, but once you get in that system, you never. But I'm saying that's not going to happen to them. But they could do anything they want with anybody, and it's all perception of how you're used.
It is.
And I
agree.
I don't know. I don't know if they're used in that really strong capacity, is that maximizing to all audiences? I don't know. But I get it. I think it's interesting, a dynamic, but to see how it does, because they've done so well on the independents, right?
Yeah, so. And I mean, even working with teams like they did a lot of stuff with Hardys, and but I just think it's mind blowing that WWE let them, for their independent love for certain darlings, they let them kind of slip through their fingers.
I don't know if they have necessarily. I bet you there's been communication, but I bet you if they're doing that well on the independents.
I mean, there was from what I gather, and they've told the story before on they've had things where they worked in the ring beforehand, they had matches on the fly, they impressed the right people, but I think one of the issues was they had to go through NXT on a tryout, like one of those things.
Yeah.
They're above that, and a lot of guys I think are above that, but that's protocol, and maybe the money, or there wasn't a flat out. I don't even know if there was a set offer, but do you go with the hope, or do you go with, hey, these other companies are offering us a fucking great living, we're gonna go here. So I think
they're already making money, so and it's they're
killing it.
I get it.
So
yeah. They do well on merch, from what I understand. So.
Like little fucking rock stars, they do, and they're good. They're quality human beings, man. Good family men.
I don't think I've ever met them. So
yeah,
that's good to hear from you. That's good to know. My number one is a no-brainer. Kenny Omega, I think, is
okay.
I just think he would. He's the perfect candidate for the WWE main roster, and at some point, I think it'll happen. And I'm impressed with him. And I think he could work with everybody, and he's well liked by many of the guys already. I think he's an easy fit into the locker room. There's no problems. You could do with him whatever you want. So
I won't disagree there.
That's my number one pick.
The only reason why I didn't put him on the list, I just felt like at this moment there's so many people in that realm of, they have their AJ, they have their Zayn, their Owens. I just felt like it wasn't the right time period, but I feel like Kenny is going to keep continuing to give all he can to New Japan, and then I guess see what happens after. I love Kenny, though.
Yeah. No, his time will come, for sure.
All right, and that's the list.
All right. You got anything you want to go out on here?
Not really, but you can follow me on all platforms. Buck Never Stops.
I am at Ryback22 on Twitter, the big guy Ryback22 on Instagram, Ryback247 on Snapchat, and the official Conversation with the Big Guy Twitter at CWTBG. Thank you guys for listening. You've just listened to another episode of Conversation with the Big Guy.
Napa know-how.
There are lots of amazing cars on the road, but perhaps none more amazing than the paid-off car. It may not be pretty, but the price is right. Heck, if you keep that thing running, it'll actually start paying you. Because with Napa Rewards, for every $100 you spend, you'll get $5 off. So keep your car running longer, stronger with Napa.